Waiting. What up? And welcome, everybody. Welcome, man. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, look, I apologize. It's been about 2 days since I made any fucking content and shit. Yo, look, my kids come before y'all. It is what it is. I shouldn't even apologize to y'all for that, but it is. I got to explain it every once in a while. But in the meantime, yo, look, I'm Tom Pease. I'm here with my boy, Vlad. And, you know, I mean, we were having a discussion about democracy and everybody the fuck else. You know, I mean, we're on another fucking stream with a bunch of other fucking people. And legit, I'll be honest with you. Yo, we got into some shit and like I had to go clean some shit up and take care of some things. And, you know, I mean, I kind of didn't get a chance to finish it up. And I wanted to finish up this conversation and get down and dirty with it. I figured we got to probably at least an hour's worth of fucking content at minimum out of having a conversation about elections and the media and all the shit that goes with it and the solutions. And because I think that's really important is having solutions. And I'll be honest, this whole conversation started off with me saying, hey, look, you know, we're going to have to son up these fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like these fucking young men coming up who doesn't have the ability to fucking be men. They were raised by women. They were raised in sheltered homes. They were raised with bulldozer parents and shit. And we're going to have to stand here and, you know, I mean, get them to where they need to be. And we're going to have to spread this message, positively and really start changing hearts and minds and showing the positive way of doing things. Because I think that's better than continuing to allow them to embrace communism and somebody going, it's not your fault, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's the capitalist system. It's meant to destroy you. And, you know, And, you know, that's where, and I mean, I was like, yo, fuck that. We need to, you know, I mean, get down and dirty and spread this libertarian message and get out here and have this conversation. You know what I mean? That's really where we are. So, Vlad, man, what up, man? Yo, unmute yourself.
What's up?
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm just sharing the link.
Oh, cool. Good luck, man. It's appreciated. You know what I mean? Legit. It's most definitely motherfucking appreciated and shit. Fucking and legit. And it still doesn't show this motherfucker's live on my motherfucking channel.
You're live.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't man, listen, I gotta fucking go to my goddamn Discord and hit the goddamn fucking link and shit. And then go back to like fucking it's dumb. Like I can't on my channel, it doesn't show me live. Right? Like when I go to my thing.
That's super weird.
And then go back to that's fucking that's how the fuck it works. Because I got a new dude in the chat and I want to add moderator and Ghost Dog. I don't know how the fuck it is you don't have a fucking wrench. Welcome. Gallagher commentary here, man. I want to add moderator. There you go. And I mean, yeah, I win this debate. Gallagher, if you want to join and win this debate, we can, you know, you can hop the fuck in here. Legit. Right. I don't know what side you're on, but I think like fucking I don't
think he even knows what side he's on.
Yeah, I feel you. Right. If you have a wrench, you should get notifications. Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. Anyway, but Gallagher, like legit. Okay, so my mentality is that democracy is stupid, and I think we should have tests, like a civics test to stand here and be able to vote. Right. And you were on some shit where you think that was wrong. So let's go over that. I think there should be a civics test to prove that you understand what you're voting for. And then what was your point?
My point was, I think the problem would be more easily solved if the federal government or, you know, would impose upon each state a requirement for them to be taught physics in high school. By them, I mean the students.
You mean civics, right?
Yes, yeah, civics, yeah. Like that's what I thought I said. I thought I said civics.
No, you said physics.
Oh, oops. Well, that too, physics as well.
Yeah, I feel like you should learn physics in high school as well, right? But
yeah.
Okay, so no civics test. Who writes a test and who grades a test? Okay, so here's where it's at. We already actually kind of have a test. It's called the citizenship test, right? Where like, you know, like if you want to become a citizen, you have to pass, right? C, Caldera Q. I agree with you. Net taxpayers, all this necessary. But no, right, on the same point, I want you to you should only be voting if you understand government, understand economics, and understand how money and the international system works, right? Like, I think you should be, all right. So here was the point that like we were getting down to, right? And he said it's the government's job to educate you. And I don't think it is. Like, I don't think we should have education at all. I think the school system is dumb and it shouldn't exist, me personally. right?
Like
You
no
disagree?
education at all?
No, none. I don't think there should be any education.
I disagree for a large array of reasons. But the big foundational one is actually something I got into after you had left, and that is that you between the ages of 20 and 22 overall, typically you stop developing your capacity for learning. Becomes pretty much dead. And so, or rather,
What?
learning new things, like all new
What the
information.
fuck are you?
So,
what are you talking about?
so you can, okay, so let me rephrase it. So when I say capacity to learn, whenever you're a kid, you can be taught a new thing, right? And then just pick it up and it's no issue. Like, you ever notice, like, whenever you, like, as an adult or when as a kid you played like a Nintendo, right? Yeah, I'm sure you
Right.
remember that. Okay, if you went back now and then tried to play that same game, you would be nowhere nearly as effective as you were then. And the primary reason for that, aside from length of time, is also the fact that your capacity for learning new mechanics and all that other shit, like relearning all that, is been lessened dramatically. So my whole point that I'm making here is everything that you are is like, as a person after the age of roughly 22, was determined by how you were raised and what you were taught early on. So if you going to school, how your parents raised you, like all that other stuff, nature, nurture, etc. Like all of that is what makes you who you are. You remove school out of it, you remove education out of it entirely, then what you're doing is actually stunting the growth of every individual from that point forward.
Okay, so that's absolutely not true, right? All right, so let me put this like this. So,
which part's not true?
All right, hang on, wait. Let me address the chat. See Caldaria, right? Okay, so here's where it's at. Okay, show. All right, let's put this up here, right? Okay, so no single person should be deciding who gets to vote. If you're a net taxpayer, you incentivize and learn about the government and economics in order to stay a net taxpayer. No, because like you can go work at a fucking factory or a warehouse somewhere and be a net taxpayer. I mean, when it comes down to it, and that's, and I mean, how do I put this? That's not, and I mean, I don't think that's enough to be able to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you get the fucking vote. If you want to get the vote legitimately, I think you should actually know how government works. And I'm not talking about, I mean, we should stand here and have like a political civics test. I want a fucking civics test to show you understand, like, there's 3 forms of government, how many senators, how many fucking representatives, how many fucking congressmen, how many fucking judges, how many fucking, what's the order in which, I mean, fucking succession of power goes.
Civics, yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Understanding, you know what I'm saying, how, like, fucking the monetary system works with the Federal Reserve and Treasury and all this shit, right? That's a little higher tech, but it's not a whole lot to fucking learn. And legitimately, you can learn this in an afternoon on a cell phone, watching motherfucking YouTube videos, or, I mean, reading it on Wikipedia or whatever the case might be, right? It's not that difficult to learn. None of this shit is, right? It takes nothing to learn this. And it's just like fucking gun rights, right? Like, see, you can have the right to own a firearm, right? But you have to be responsible with that firearm. If you fucking, you go and you buy a firearm and it goes off and discharges and goes into somebody's fucking house, and, I mean, like, whatever, right? Even if don't kill it, if it just goes into somebody's house, your guns get taken away because you were an irresponsible gun owner who, I mean, fired a shot through somebody else's house, because you're going to go to jail. Right. And your rights to own that firearm long term are going to be in jeopardy due to the fact that you're probably going to be fucking, charged with a felony. This is the responsibility you get for having rights. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the fucking deal when it comes down to it.
But like, so the issue, like, going backwards here for a second before we even get into that, if you remove education entirely, okay, the fundamental issue that I see with that in relation to civics anyway is now you're relying on who to teach you about civics, because much easier to learn about civics as a kid than it is as an adult. So, I mean, so is the parents going to teach you?
Well, no, I mean, it's really, no, it's not that difficult to learn as an adult, right? It's legitimately not. This is not a difficult thing to learn in any way, shape, or form. And we're all learning constantly. And if you're not learning every fucking day, there's something wrong with you. Legitimately.
No, I mean, look, I'm not saying that you don't learn as you get older. What I'm saying is it's harder to learn.
No, it's
like,
not.
So, like,
it's easier.
I don't know about that. So like I can tell you right now, like there's a lot of people, like, I mean, you may, so it depends. So if we're talking about learning things like on literary subjects, right? If you already have an interest in literary subjects, say let's say you already have an interest in learning about civics, right? Like, yeah, like whenever you're fucking in your 30s, it's going to be just as easy for you to learn civics as it was whenever you were 18, right? Because you've already like had an interest, or history. Like for me in history, I love history. I've always loved history from the very beginning, like always, right? But if you take a subject that I didn't already find an interest in long ago, and you just throw me in the middle of it, there's like my capacity to learn a whole new subject I've never touched before is significantly more difficult. And so like if you tried to say like physics earlier, if you tried to throw physics at me like right now, like it's going to be more difficult for me to retain that information if since I never had an interest in it before. Not impossible, but harder.
Well, no, again, it's not gonna be any more difficult to learn it than if you learned it when you were fucking 12, right? Because I'm assuming that they taught us some type of civics in fucking school, and I don't remember any of it. Right. I do remember like fucking going through and learning it later. Like, I'll be honest with you. I think the first time I ever read through the Bill of Rights or the Constitution, legitimately, I was in my fucking 20s.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, here's the thing with civics as a subject. There's only 2 states in the entire country that have it mandatory. The rest of them don't.
What states are they? Do you know what they are?
I don't remember what they are, but they're the states that it's going to be obvious. I think North Carolina is one of them. Like they're pretty obvious, like conservative states. Like obviously California and the entirety of the North aren't going to have that mandatory because most of them don't. And the thing is like, in fact, a lot of politicians call civics racist. So there's that. But that's a whole separate discussion I read in forums. But no, like, so the thing is like there was, I can't remember his name. What was his name? Dreyfus. He actually went on a whole campaign in like 2012, 2013, trying to build up funds to force the United States government to teach civics in schools. It's that big of an issue. And he would agree with you on the notion that most people are too uneducated to actually vote consciously. And honestly, like for the most part, like I don't even necessarily agree with that. I think like fundamentally, like if all you care about is there's this president, he says he's going to do these things, or this other guy says he's going to do these things, that's all you really need to know. The rest of it's kind of not that important.
No, it's extremely important, right?
I mean, because, is, but not to voting.
No, it is the voting. It is like, because if somebody says they're going to give away free shit, right? And like, if you don't understand what the federal budget is and understand that, like, we don't have money for more free shit, and that they're going to print the fucking money to do it because they're not going to raise taxes, then you have to understand that the free shit they're giving away is going to make it more difficult for fucking poor people to be able to afford goods because it's going to cause fucking inflation.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, I'm not. Look, again, like I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm just saying to the individual voter,
that is an important thing. Like, if things are going to cost you more money, if things are going to cost you more money as an individual voter, that's important.
Then they're making a bad decision. Like, and then we do that all the time.
Yo.
Like, I mean, like, that's just what it comes down to for me. I mean, like, if you want to make a mistake, make a mistake. I mean, like, but the problem isn't even that. I think the issue is far deeper than all of this. And that is that, as a society, we're all forced to take wholesale ideas and eat them from early age all the way up without school. Like, so like you have the media shoving bullshit into your head. You have the education system and in some places shoving bullshit into your head, especially nowadays. and you have colleges that do it. And on top of all of this, you have social media like blinding you to everything but a singular idea. I mean, like if you reformed all those things, you would fix the fundamental issue.
Right. I agree with you. Right. Oh, fucking this shit motherfucking fucked up. It says buffering. I don't know why it says goddamn buffering. Like, I think that's a you thing. Cause like I just turned on the stream to check it, DJ, and like, oh, my shit's running fucking just fine. This is on Streamlabs. So like, it's not like it's running actually like off my fucking internet. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, like you'll refresh your fucking page or something, or your internet's fucking up. Hang on, man. Let me drag fucking Vlad back in here real quick. There we go. It said your device is not connected. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Well, I'll be right back. I got to fix something real quick.
All right. Do your thing. Right. So anyway, like, I'm wondering what the fuck is going on. Is everybody getting buffering? Is that what's going on, man? Y'all let me know what's going on in the fucking chat. Legit. Yeah, again, and Ghosto, this is another part of this, right? Legit, is that you have local and state people who are voting for local and state fucking people, and they have no idea who they are. Joe Rogan said that shit today. Legit, he sat here and he said, "Hey, look, I went down through, like he said, I took like 2 hours going through all this shit." Right? No, he's special. Okay, got you. Right? He said he took 2 hours going down through all the ballot initiatives and all the shit that they had out in California for him to vote on and with all that bullshit, right? And he said he had no idea who half these fucking people are, and that's something that, how do I put this? I mean, like that's something that needs to be addressed as well. Like maybe we need to split the fucking elections up and have separate elections locally. And, real like actual elections for like the federal government, just specifically so that you're not voting down ballot fucking Republican or, fucking down ballot, Democrat or whatever, so you're actually voting on each of the fucking candidates on the strength of their fucking issues. Vlad, what up?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had my kid was having I had my kid using a laptop, and the laptop was being a douchebag. So,
gotcha. It's cool. Do what you do.
Right. But I got it to work. But anyway, yeah, no. So like basically, the whole thing in a nutshell is that I have trouble seeing no education and then seeing how that creates an educated voter, because like in my mind, people are as individuals. Okay. They're like, so if children had a choice, they would not be educated at all. If children had a choice, they wouldn't go to school. If children had a choice, whatever. Right. So whenever you're then saying, well, then they have to take responsibility to educate themselves. But school is one of those things that kind of influences you into education. So if you remove any influence of education, odds are they're not going to even take the time to educate themselves.
Well, here's my problem, right? I have an issue with the mandatory fucking school practice, right? I have an issue with the fact that like it's mandatory I send my kid to school because I can educate my kid at home better than the fucking school can do, right? And that's legit something that I have a fucking problem with because I don't feel as though like my kid should be forced to go into a public indoctrination camp. When it comes down to it, like I don't like that ideology as a whole. Like fucking, I think that if I want to keep my kid home, it should be my fucking right to do so.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, look, if it, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think like forcing kids to go to school is kind of dumb. I think that should be up to the parent. I agree with that. But I mean, at the same time, I only agree with that if the parent is also forced to actually teach their kid and not just fuck off.
Well, here's the other half of that argument too, is we spend $1.2 trillion a year on fucking education. And legitimately, we can get the same fucking shit done with a laptop sending a kid to fuck home and just providing fucking internet.
They're doing that right now because of the COVID shit.
I feel you. And shit's working just fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll see like long term.
And I would be okay with that too if we just converted schools to a online course. I would be 100% okay with that.
Oh, YouTube is down. That's what's going on because Jonathan P said he got an F. Like, and legit, like fucking. Usually, I have 50 people coming out. Right?
Okay, that explains that would explain why that laptop quit working, because that's what she was watching, was YouTube. So
Oh, gotcha.
But no, I mean, like, the thing is, for me, is like, but when it like, again, like, I don't think that the education system in the United States is really that great. So we can agree on that it's not the greatest thing on the planet. It has a lot of issues and really needs to be better moderated. However, at the same time, if you can, I would agree with you that if you just converted it over to laptops, and it was just digitized, and we basically weeded the teachers completely out of the equation effectively, then I would be okay with that. And basically maybe just keep schools open for the more special students, like, fine.
No. Eliminate the fucking schools. That's where I'm like, the problem is the amount of fucking schools we have, right?
Well, no, I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is, when I say school, I'm just saying, like, you could convert it to laptop, like internet courses, and that would be, to me, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
like, I would 100%. I'd be 100% on board with that.
Right. Like, and again, like, I think, what I'm saying? Like, at some point, people have to accept responsibility for their fucking nation. And that's really what I'm getting down to is this mentality of, you have to have, individuals have responsibilities for their country. Well, right. And like, the idea that these individuals here, how do I put this? The idea that these individuals, like, fucking shouldn't have responsibility to be fucking informed and are still allowed to vote is fucking retarded.
Okay, so I wanted to say real quick too, that having a laptop at home instead of going to school would also do more to aid my point of influencing children to self-research, because they're already using a device for that purpose. So that kind of would help. And like, actually physically going to school and opening up a book doesn't really do anything, and it creates devices like laptops to feel more like an escape than it does to feel like you're actually learning anything. So that actually doing that would even aid both of our arguments entirely. And as far as responsibility to self-educate, I mean, look, I think that you are 100% entitled within the confines of American law to be exactly as retarded as you want to be. And there shouldn't really be any consequences for that, and refusing people's the right to vote is nothing more than a consequence for that.
So, man, fucking, like, telling these people, like, reload the page, we still running. I don't know what the fucking deal is. Everybody says, like, fucking, I think the stream might be dead. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm hoping, like, this stream stays up, like, afterwards. I don't know what the fuck is going on again, because, like, usually
it's playing on my end. I just played it.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'm on the same shit. It's playing on my end too. I don't know what the fucking deal is.
Well, I had to refresh my page and it worked.
Yo, refresh the page, nigga. Refresh page.
Okay, now it's messing up on my phone. What the fuck? We broke YouTube.
Yo, welcome to my life. Yeah, it's working just fine on fucking YouTube on mine.
Yeah, no, my phone just quit working on my YouTube app.
Yeah,
I think it might be the app itself. Maybe.
I don't know. It says the chat's working, but nothing else is. Yo, word. They're just nuking everything. I don't know what the fuck is going on. All of YouTube is down. I don't know. Like, apparently they're getting the stream, so we'll just keep the conversation up. You know what I mean? And like, fucking, it'll go on later. You know what I mean? I guess, like, whatever, it'll go up. I don't know what the fucking deal is.
I guess. I'm trying to get it to work.
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking Ghost Dog says he's cool. So, like, we'll keep doing it for just Ghost Dog. Right? Ghost Dog, thank you for motherfucking sticking around. Don't refresh the page. Don't fuck with nothing. Don't touch shit. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, right? So, yeah, fucking, like, I'm not a fan of the education system. I think it's broke, right? You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I think the whole thing is busted, and like, fucking, I think the whole education system is completely and utterly broken to the point where, like, we need to throw it away and try again. Right? So fucking, I don't know, like what the, I don't like, I think the answer again is like fucking legit. We just all go, we go, everybody with a laptop. And then like we have all like the teachers in like some like fucking warehouse is in the Midwest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with that. Like just convert it all to
Online.
well, I mean, I agree with that. Like just and like
Yeah,
the reason
the shit just started up again.
yay. But yeah, no, if we convert it all to mobile, I mean, or to laptops, I'd be 100% fine with that. And the reason why is because it would actually, because then you're physically touching a device that will allow you to do more research or influence you. Like you have that influence in your life. Going to school and opening up a fucking textbook isn't really an influence that would teach you realistically how to do research. Like nobody uses books anymore. Schools still do.
Well, I mean, like, yo, books are fucking important. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it.
I mean, I'm not
like
saying
fucking, you got to have books and shit.
I'm not saying they're not important. What I'm saying is I'm talking about influences. I'm actually being very deterministic, right? So I'm saying like the things you're influenced with in your life, like, so I'm more likely to play a PlayStation 4 kind of thing because whenever I was a kid, I played a Nintendo, or, things like that. I'm more likely to do research on climate change as in an adult life because I used a laptop to learn everything I know now, rather than because that's kind of what I'm saying. Like it's very
I mean, but like here's the other part of this too. Like I read a lot of books online as well. You know what I mean? Like fucking like a lot of my books I read are online.
Right.
Like I'll like, and I like, for instance, like I love like going back and reading like 15th and 16th and 17th century literature and shit. And that's kind of where I get down to. And I look that shit up online. And I usually get it for free. You know what I mean? And I read it to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like fucking to put them in bed at night because they'll fall asleep because they don't fucking really care because it's not about like a bunny jumping up and down or whatever. But like I think it's important, that we educate our children properly. And this is the thing, it's like our education system is so goddamn broken. You could never say that they're being properly educated in their system.
Yeah, so I can confirm other people are having issues with YouTube, and I have a 503 error. What the hell? Like I have other people that are telling me on Discord that YouTube's fucked. So what a lovely time.
Yeah, you gotta love it, man. They're gonna fucking stand here and like
I just
fucking,
got it working. Okay. Now my daughter will leave me alone for 2 seconds. There we go. All right. Yeah. So so like again, like as I said, like in general though, I'm okay with scrapping how the legacy school system and converting it all to laptop use 100%. And that it'd be cheaper. You save everybody money in the long run, and parents aren't as stressed out to have to, whatever. I mean, granted, it could be bad at the same time because their kids are constantly around them. But I mean, like maybe that'll increase the feeling of responsibility, because I think that's something that's lacking, especially with single moms. But that's a whole separate subject, right? But
I mean, like, no, I mean, like, so here's the other part of this too. Like, we were having a discussion the other week about, what I'm saying, fucking, like, I think that like they should give the welfare money to dudes instead of females, because I think it's important that we promote families instead of promoting single motherhood. Right. And the reason I think that is because I think culture is important. Right. I think, like having a culture in an area is extremely important. I don't think all of America should be the same. Right. I don't want to go to Alabama and hear people talk like they're from fucking Washington State. I want to hear a Southern accent. You know what I mean?
I see. And that's the thing. I disagree. Because it annoys the shit out of me. Anytime I hear somebody fucking like, I'm going to go wash my windows in the creek, I want to shoot them in the face. Like, it just drives me insane. Like I'm just like, I spent my life, my childhood learning how to speak properly. I forced that on myself, and so and part of the reason why, by the way, isn't accents though. It was because I had a what's that called? A speech impediment. right? So like
Okay.
I had to force myself to learn how to speak properly, and so I have like an OCD when somebody like mispronounces words and it just or says something like dumb like Missouri, it drives me insane, like so
Well,
like
no,
it.
no, like you have to have that. Like if you don't have cohesiveness, like, and that's the thing, you have to have cohesiveness in your local area, right? Because like that's what protects you from having, like, say the feds say, I don't know, any of the things they've said over the past like 10 years, we're like, fucking cut your kids' penises off, or, fucking like you're all going to be communists, they're going to come take your guns, they're going to do whatever, right? Your fucking local cohesive fucking groups, your local fucking, like your state going, nah, no, you're not here, right? And like, you're going, nah, we're Missourians, right? And like fucking all of y'all are the same, you know what I mean? And all of y'all have the opportunity to band together because you're the same.
I'm okay with that as long as everybody speaks proper English.
I don't care if you speak proper English.
I do. I care so much.
Legit, like I don't give a fuck. Like if you speak,
Look, it's just personal OCD,
right? Like like because it's just like me. Like fucking like as far as I'm concerned, like I can sit here and have these conversations with y'all, and like hang in every conversation and make valid points and body beat most of y'all around. Like I could beat almost every last one of y'all in the fucking head with y'all shit. And I don't speak properly in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean, that's true. But I mean, but I don't really like, I mean, it's just my personal OCD. That's all it is. But no, I like, no, really, it just is like, it's just a personal like pet peeve.
I feel you. Daughter over there choking.
But
She all right, man?
yeah, I don't know why the hell she's coughing. Like, I mean, at first she was actually coughing and now she's being a troll. But,
Oh.
no, like, so I just got over my cold and now she's getting it, kind of thing. I didn't get over it.
Sounds like y'all got the coof over there and shit.
The what?
The coof.
What the fuck is what?
Y'all got the woo flu and shit.
No, I don't. But yeah, no, I. But as I said, like when it comes to, will you quit it? Anyway, but when it comes down to it, for me, is like I'm a determinist. Okay. So personal responsibility as a subject is something that I have like issues with, because on one hand, I agree that law, like legally, like you have to assume that people have personal responsibility. But whenever you look at it from like a God view, so to speak, like you can clearly tell that everybody just does the same shit, the same patterns every day and aren't content with it. Like it's like an ant farm. That's exactly what humans are. On an above view, there is no real like personal responsibility. There's no like free will, so to speak. So like, well, you can't expect somebody who has been brainwashed by the media to one day, just for no reason other than the alleged personal responsibility, basically just wake up and go like, I'm gonna Google this on my phone because this might not be true, even though CNN has never lied to me before. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna, that's not gonna happen. You have to change everything around the issue rather than the issue itself, because the issue itself isn't even really the issue, it's the result.
Okay, well, like here's the thing though, like the reason why people act like ants every day is because of the fact that you force them to take responsibility. Right? You force them to do so. Like they're responsible for their lives. They're responsible for feeding themselves, and they're responsible for, like housing and clothing and shit. So when you do that, all of them have to fucking go and get a job. All of them have to stand here and do what they can to earn money and provide for themselves and, live a normal motherfucking life. Like that's what causes individuals to look like ants from a God view. But like the reality is that you have to have that responsibility with everything. If you don't have the responsibility of going, you need to be responsible when you vote, right? You need to be responsible when you fucking have a firearm. You need to be responsible with your free speech. If you don't have that and you don't allow individuals to be able to be responsible, like you allow them to be fucking lackadaisical with their shit, it ends up, standing here destroying things as a whole, and people don't act in a fucking manner in which is positive for a cohesive society.
Oh, so let me get this. So whenever you say responsible, are you basically saying don't weaponize your rights?
I'm saying don't use your rights to infringe on other individuals'
That's what
rights.
I mean. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I mean, and I kind of get that, but I don't really view voting to fit in that category. Because
But I mean, you're literally using your fucking rights to fucking rule over other fucking people's rights.
I mean, you're not ruling over, you're just choosing somebody else to.
Well, okay, you're allowing individuals to stand here and rule over other individuals, right? And like, so if you're irresponsible with your fucking rights, and like if a large mass of people like we have now are completely irresponsible with their rights, then you end up with individuals destroying the fucking country behind bettering themselves and bettering like small portions of our society.
Well, so look, many of the people who vote are single issue voters anyway. You know, like,
Yeah.
so I mean, like that's its own separate subject. But I mean, like, it's like, okay, so here's a different question. So you're saying a civics test, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but you do, but I should say, like, even if everybody took a civics test, like, they're still likely to completely disagree with you. Like, there's still a good chance that many of the people, even if they pass the civics test, could be commies or whatnot.
There is, right? There is that fucking possibility. But on the same point, they're not going to stand here and fall for fucking dumb bullshit, right? Like if you're able to pass a civics test and understand how what's the word I'm looking for here? If you're able to pass the civics test and understand how, I mean, our monetary system works, for instance, you are not going to be a commie. You're like, because you can't, if you can do math, you can't be a communist.
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Legit. Like if you know that, like if you print money, it costs more money for people to survive, right? Then fucking if you print money and it costs more for people to survive, and you care about poor people, then you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna fucking ask people to print money.
So here's the thing, like knowing the structure of the United States doesn't necessarily make you not a communist, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, you can know the structure and how the country works and still want it not to be that way.
Like this looks like shit's still fucked up for people.
Oh yeah, no, it's interesting timing, because like, yeah, my phone, it's not working whatsoever. Again, whether it's mobile, even in browser, it's not working at all. I can sit it. Let me see if I change it to desktop mode, if it'll work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, fucking,
I mean, it works on my computer.
Yeah, my shit's still fucked up, but the chat's working. So like, they know that I'm streaming. It'll be up afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, it will be up after. Hopefully, OHOPEFULLY. There we go. Hopefully. Right. Yeah, but like for me, it just, how do I put this, man? It doesn't make any fucking sense that you should be able to vote and not understand how government works as a whole, right? Like, I don't see the reason why people who can't name the fucking vice president should be able to vote.
Well, I mean, so here's the reason why. Okay, so let's say, like, you have a whole bunch of people. Okay, like, so you get 350 million people, right? You have a very small minority of them that even have a mild understanding of civics whatsoever. Okay. And then you have about 40% of those that are just single issue voters. Okay. That are just like, oh, okay, well, they want to overturn Roe v. Wade, so I'll vote for that. Like, then you have, or right now, which you would have like probably the overwhelming majority of the 75 million that voted for Biden just saying, I just hate Trump. Right. So like overall, like, you're going to have these scenarios. Everything I just listed out of the 200 and something, roughly 210 million people eligible to vote, out of the 350 million in the United States, are just stripped out of the equation because the overwhelming majority of people have absolutely no fucking clue what the word civics even means, let alone what it entails. So like, and this is like a fundamental issue. If you wanted to revolutionize the school system to where it's all laptop, all right, fine. And then, but how are you going to do this civics? I mean, you see how how the voting went this year, and you're going to host a civics course before you can vote. Like, you know how hard that would be. Like, you'd have to, and the thing is like, I think that your ability to vote is innate to your ability to live in the United States. That is your reward for being here. That like
no. Your reward for being here is like living in a country with fucking freedoms and I mean fucking rights that everybody else doesn't have. That's your fucking reward for living.
Yeah,
here.
and if you don't vote at all, if your ability to vote is taken away, then your ability to even complain is taken away. Your ability, your one duty as a citizen has been revoked from you. Like, you don't even have a reason to be here anymore.
Okay, no. That's not how this works. Just because you aren't getting to choose because you're not intelligent enough to pass the fucking test doesn't mean that you're fucking like you don't have any reason to be here anymore.
I mean,
like literally, like look, there's tons of things that happen in America that most of us don't fucking do.
Well, if your ability to vote is taken away from you and you can't vote, then you're really just like kind of being a leech. Like, you're not participating. You're just there. You might be participating in the economy, but you're not participating in how the governmental structure functions. You know, like your whole ability to make a decision for yourself is completely revoked because you can't even vote on somebody who may help you in making the decisions you would want to make for yourself.
Just again, if that's important to you, all you have to do is study.
Yeah. I mean,
you have access to this information for fucking free on your phone. It's free.
And now here's the other issue, right? Study. Okay, you can study civics, okay? But one of the fundamental issues with the education system kind of falls into line here. And that is, well, what exactly, or not the education system, sorry, the government system. Okay, so you study civics, right? What if, like what the leftists do, they start changing definitions of words and changing how history is interpreted, right? What if they start changing the questions? What if they start adding to the criteria? Well, now you have to learn civics, right? Now you have to learn civics, but now in order to vote, you have to also learn the entirety of Roe v. Wade, or you have to read the entirety of I don't know, Mein Kampf, for example. Like you keep adding to this list, and then eventually nobody's going to be able to vote at all.
No. This is a basic test. It's just a basic test.
Well,
it's like a driving test. It's like a driving test. All right, legit. Like, driving should be a right? But like, on the same point, you should prove that you should be able to fucking handle that right.
Yeah.
Right. So they call it a privilege at the moment. But like, legitimately, anybody can get a driver's license if you can pass the fucking test.
Right. But here's the thing, though, that I'm getting at. Like, driving and voting are two different things, right? So like, you have a party members, okay, in the government itself doesn't want, like, if the government had its way, okay, if, like, say, Republicans had its way, the one thing that they would want is solely people who learn civics and understand, conservative values to vote for them, right? They don't want commies to vote for them. That's not their target audience, so to speak, right? And the thing is, what I'm getting at,
we no longer have to convince dumb people to vote, right? You don't have to, like, it's like CNN right now and fucking MSNBC. What do? They stand here and they scare the shit out you, call people racist, and make dumb fucking arguments about how, like, you should have free shit. Right. That's the basic premise of motherfucking, like, these fucking TV stations and how they get dumb people to vote for fucking Democrats. Right. Well, you take that away because we're now just talking to people who are intelligent enough to pass a fucking civics test. So you can have real conversations and they won't cover politics anymore. Why? Because the average fucking person isn't going to vote and they're not going to make a fucking change.
Well, but yeah, but see, but what I'm saying is when you give the government an inch, okay, they take a mile, they take it further, right? So any law involving the government is always a slippery slope. Case in point, marijuana. Everybody said that whenever you legalize medical marijuana, it's just going to become recreational afterwards anyway. And that's exactly what's happened in every single state that they've ever legalized medical marijuana in, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's the same thing like with the government in general. Anytime you give them an inch, it always is an inch further and an inch further. It always does. Whenever you come in and you say you have to have you have to pass the civics course with a C, let's just say, in order to do this, right? Then it's going to be, well, no, a B, and then no, an A, or worse, the opposite direction, a D, an F. And then, or maybe they reduce civics and it's like, well, you don't have to know this much of civics, because once you have arbitrary criteria, the criteria will always be up for change because the government always does this.
Okay. I mean, like, all right. So like, I understand what you're saying, right? Legitimately. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to take away dumb fuckers from voting, right? Like I would even go to like the net taxpayer route, I mean, which would be a better fucking way altogether. Right. But like at minimum, I still want individuals who are intelligent enough to understand how government works to vote.
Right. And there's ways to do that. One thing that was actually posed in the previous stream you were talking about by Addy, which which was a great point on his part, was he made the argument that it's a big problem when you go on social media or just on regular television and they say just go vote. That logic fundamentally, I think, is the major source of the issue. And the reason why that's the source is they shouldn't say that. They should say it's voting time. Figure out who you're voting for, or something more catchy than that. They should be prompting you to give you a platform to learn both sides of the discussion. And the media should be there to not give me opinions. I don't give a shit what Ted Turner's opinions are. All I care about is what the facts are. Okay. And they should only, in fact, I would even go as far as to say it should be illegal for the news media to be able to divulge their opinions. It should be a crime. Because let's be honest here, those are who are influencing or in causing all of these elections to go sour. It's not the people.
Well, okay, I agree with you that it's the news media that's the fucking problem, right? I completely agree with you that it's the news media that's the fucking problem when it comes down to it. And the problem isn't the fact that the news media is spouting opinions, right? It isn't the fact that they're leftist, because they're not. They're right wing, right? They're fucking further right than 90% of us are. Like they've never met a war they didn't fucking like.
You're talking basically your argument is that they play left for money. I mean, I would agree with you. I mean, it seems that way. Why not?
Well, like, okay, so like here's what's happening. All right, so all the people who advertise on the fucking news are going to lose their shit if they don't conduct warfare.
Yes. My
kid
just passed out.
Oh. Fucking cute, right? They're always adorable when they're sleeping. Fucking I apologize. All right, so like here's their mentality. All right. If you make fucking clothes in a Uyghur fucking forced labor camp in China, like Nike does, right? What you need is individuals to stand here and run cover for you. And on top of that, you need transport security, getting it back to the United States and having an open market. Baby, can you grab my seal off the fucking the table, please? Yeah. Thank you. Right. And so like what you need is fucking the US government to keep doing what it's doing. And Donald Trump was trying to kill that. right? And Donald Trump, 'cause, like, the whole reason we were doing, like, we were covering like all of the world's like sea lanes and shit is because of the fact that like we were fighting the Soviets back in the day, and it was a bribe that we offered everybody. We said, look, we will float our navy in the whole world, and we will protect all fucking shipments moving anywhere that goes anywhere, and we'll allow you to move your goods into our country for fucking free with no tariffs, no bullshit, no nonsense, and you can fucking trade your way back to fucking fluency and shit. And we never ended that after the Soviet Union fell, and that's where we are right now. But these fucking, like, the Soviet Union fell, and like all of a sudden the EU was fucking trying to, destroy the dollar. And like fucking these countries, when we went to war, they weren't going to fucking war with us. Like fucking all these fucking things that we were supposed to do. Like, they were supposed to spend all this money on NATO, like 3% of their GDP on fucking defense for fucking NATO and shit. And they weren't fucking doing it. And now the news is paid for by all these companies that's held up by this system that no longer works for the United States, because only like 6% of our entire GDP is tied to fucking global exports for fucking trade. And 50 or 60% of that is Canada and Mexico. So now the news media is trying to uphold the fucking United States fucking world order that we no longer need and we no longer have to use. And that's really what's going on at the moment. That's what the news media is doing. Like, all these companies that pay for the fucking news, it's not just like military contractors. It's Nike, it's fucking Amazon, it's Google and Microsoft manufacture all their phones in fucking China. Mm-hmm. Imagine the amount of money it would cost for them to move those fucking plants back here.
We could just do what Russia does and make it government funded.
Right.
I'm kidding.
I mean, like, I don't know which one's worse. Like, the CIA paying for shit and like fucking propagating us, or this bullshit where like the CIA is propagating us through the fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no idea. But what I do know is there needs to be regulations on the First Amendment in regards to the media. I'm dead serious. Like, and the thing is like I if I come in and I see some asshole giving his opinion on the news, I'm out. Like, look, the television is not supposed to be a fucking op-ed platform. It was supposed to be nothing but facts. This guy died. Not this guy died. Oh my God, I'm so upset. No, this guy died. You're there to be boring. You're there to be uninteresting. You're there to spew facts and nothing but facts. So help me facts. And that's all I want to hear and nothing else. If I didn't ask for your opinion, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of my point of view on it. And if it makes them go out of business, then cool. That's even better. So at the end of the day,
I'll tell you what. How about this? All right. So like, let's not infringe on the First Amendment. All right, I got a better idea.
It's not infringing. Right. It's regulation.
No. Regulation is infringement. All right. It's just like them. Yo, look, it's just like them saying like, yo, if you own a rifle, you have to register it. Like, no, that's fucking infringement on your fucking rights. Right. Like, you're legit. It's infringement's infringement. I got a better idea. How about this? How about the US government buys YouTube? And that way, like, you just enforce free speech. It's literally now it's now a town square. And legit, it's just wide open First Amendment free fucking speech.
Well, okay.
We can say whatever we want as long as it's not porn. Right.
Well,
and like, that's where we are.
Actually, it was already efforts. But I don't know where they went, but there were efforts to not own YouTube, but to basically see, here's the problem with social media. It goes outside of the constitutional bounds, and this is like actually a fundamental issue. And then they try to have their cake and eat it too. They try to be like, we're just an open forum. Oh, but we're also a news media outlet, and you can't be both, right? And like, we're also a business, even though we're not. You see what I'm saying? So like, they're kind of trying to ride that line outside of regulation, and realistically they need to be brought back in. Laws need to be put in place to where they can be regulated. And this is one of the fundamental. Now, there was somebody who posed a bill of rights in a way separate for social media, like a social media bill of rights, which is a set of rules within a by the government. Whereas if you don't follow these set of rules, you're up for government scrutiny. I actually suggested that they should actually be under the scrutiny of the ATF and treated like a pawn shop, where they have to essentially be in constant contact with the ATF under constant threat of being shut down. That was my viewpoint. Okay, but then
I have a better idea, right? I have a better idea. Okay, like this is much easier.
I'm extremely harsh.
I know, you're way more government oriented than I am. Like I fucking think government is never the answer, ever.
You do,
all right? I think government always makes shit worse.
I'm a center right nationalist, so
yeah, I think government always makes shit worse, right? I'm a far right libertarian, right? I'm like I don't want any government. I want government to be the size that I can drown it in the bathtub, right? When it comes down to whiskey runner, welcome, my brother, right? Fucking like, all right, so here's where I'm at with like YouTube as a whole, and most of these social media companies as well. I want to pay for the service, right? I want to have a contract with the fucking service about my ability to I want to be the customer. All right. That's what I want. And if you violate the fucking contract that me and you have as a fucking customer and retailer or whatever you want to call it, right? Then I get to take you to fucking court for violating those fucking rights. Right. And we sit down and we have an agreement and we fucking hash out and negotiate what the fucking terms of fucking service really are. What am I and what am I not allowed to say? What are we allowed to do? Or, really, I would like to have free speech, and I'll pay for the privilege. Like I'll pay $50 a month to be on fucking YouTube, legit. If I can have free speech and you fucking leave me the fuck alone and let me grow and stop blocking my fucking shit. That's all the fuck I ask. Treat me like you treat everybody the fuck else, right? But like fucking just don't put these stupid fucking restrictions on me. That's all the fuck I want.
I would only agree if that contract was essentially a notarized document and could be enforced through government intervention.
Yeah, that's where I am, legit. And I want it. I want it to be fucking like hammered out, and I want it to be fucking locally active, right?
Yeah,
like I want to be able to take you to small claims court in my neck of the woods. Right.
So like marriage.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to stand here and go, yo, look, I pay you $50 a month. I get to have my YouTube channel. Right. Okay. So and you leave me the fuck alone.
I'm obsessed with prison. So my issue with that is that I want them to go to prison if they violate anybody's rights.
I completely agree. I think legit, they should be tried for violation of civil rights, and the fucking CEOs and the fucking board members of fucking Google and Amazon and Alphabet, right, should go to fucking jail for fucking violating civil rights.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, is like all of this is kind of part of the problem of why voters are uneducated. Like, because it's like, no, I don't like it. Whenever like I can't go into Twitter, I go into Twitter and I see nothing but censored posts because they question something. You like that, look, like that is so manipulative. Like that is so blatantly manipulative. And like, like in every way, like there is nothing wrong with questioning anything at any point ever.
Yeah. Ever. I mean, that's this is uniquely an American thing where like, we question everything all the fucking time, and we have the right to question it, right? This idea that like fucking Alex Jones should be silenced because he questioned Sandy Hook is fucking bullshit. Of course he should be able to question it. He should be able to stand here and go like, yo, were these crisis actors? You know, I mean, is this a real thing? Is this a false flag? This should never, ever come down to fucking censorship of anybody who's asking questions. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, cause like, here's the thing, like, even if the questioning is wrong, like wrong as in like, not wrong as in morally, but just incorrect. Even if that's the case, like you still learn something as an outside viewer of the content. You still and then that's the thing. Like you're not learning anything whenever you have when they have the social media telling you what's true and what's not. You're not learning shit all you're getting out of that is being spoon-fed information, which is like the fundamental issue that I think that we're having today. Like whenever I go and I want to learn something about like a politician, like, the best way to do that is to go on fucking C-SPAN. You will learn so much about these individual politicians so fucking quick. Okay, just watching C-SPAN. And what's funny about those C-SPAN things? Almost nobody fucking watches them. And you know why nobody watches them? They're not put up there. They're not advertised. They're not really on the same level as as everything else. And it's disgusting to me. And nobody knows about
I completely agree with you. Right, like fucking. I had a cable dude legit hook up my cable, and the first thing I did was turn to C-SPAN. He's like, "Who the fuck watches C-SPAN?" I was like, "Dude, you have no idea how interesting this shit really is."
Yeah,
like fucking, it is super. Like, have you ever watched those videos on C-SPAN of Jason Chavetz and fucking Trey Gowdy getting in the ass of the fucking of
Trey
the water
Gowdy
inspectors and shit, and the EPA in fucking Detroit?
Yeah, no, Trey Gowdy was, he's no longer a politician anymore, but he was my favorite politician, just period. If he was running for president, I would vote for him in a heartbeat without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I like fucking Trey Gowdy. The guy got fucking morals, and I think that's fucking important. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not afraid to stand up to motherfuckers and really get in somebody's ass and like fucking make enemies. He went after the Secret fucking Service. He was like, "Yo, why the fuck are you allowed to stand here and do this and not have because they were down there like fucking hookers and shit, and apparently like one of them died or something. I don't know, some crazy shit happened on a trip to Colombia." It's like, dude, and he's like, "Why the fuck are we paying for this?" And like there was somebody else, like they had a fucking party in Vegas where they spent like $2,000 a fucking bicycle to build bicycles as a team building exercise with I think it was like the fucking the Department of Education was out there on on a trip on government funds. Right. And they had like commemorative coins printed up to at the price of like fucking $1,200 a piece or some shit. And he's like, "The fuck is this garbage? Like, do you think the average taxpayer wants you to do this?" Like, yo, I'm fucking like, come on, like, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, yo, and again, you know what I mean? Low educated fucking voters who don't understand anything. And that's just like, I don't think government employees should be able to vote, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, okay. Actually, that I partially agree with. Like, I've always found it weird that a president could vote for himself. Like if it were me personally, just to be like an honorable person, I would have voted for my opposition if I was running for president. It's like, I'll vote for my opposition because I'm an honorable dude, just to be an asshole, like, so like, I mean, like, it's one of those things, but they don't do that. Like, I see, I want to run for president and be the first one to say fuck in a public debate, that would be.
Yeah. Like, I legit, I really want to like get on stage and be like, we can do this like men, you know what I'm saying? And like fucking, fucking step outside. Like,
so the thing is, like, I'm actually an imperialist. So this is why we're having fundamental differences of opinion. So partially, I think, I honestly think that if the United States became an empire rather than a republic, I would be much more okay with that.
Well, what's the difference between an empire and a republic?
Well, it's like the difference between what was Rome before and after Julius Caesar, right? So, I mean, an imperial country is like closer to a dictatorship than it is a republic. So,
I feel you, right? I do. Like, I feel what you're saying, but on the same point, right? I really don't think. How do I put this, man? Like, yo, you can have an empire without an emperor.
No, that's true. Like there is a thing called things like constitutionalist dictatorship or constitutional dictatorships. They have oh god, like which is kind of what Russia is right now in a way, not literally, but it might as well China. Be like, yeah. So like to me, in my mind, like it's one of these things where, like, so like I'm naturally just going to drift towards more government. You know, like, because I have no issue with it as long as, then bear in mind, you kind of are too. Whenever you say like you got to take the civics test, like you are somewhat advocating for a small amount of more government.
No, no, no. I'm trying to restrict the franchise. Right. That's always been my mentality. Is like I want to repeal the 19th, you know, that type of shit. Right. I think we need to restrict the franchise on who can vote. You know, I think democracy is fucking dumb as a whole.
Oh, and actually, side note here, also, I forgot to mention with the civics test. Okay, like essentially, what you're kind of immediately saying is the black vote just gets dropped like so astronomically.
Yo, I don't. You're not right though. Like you're not right though. Like okay, because like oh, here's the thing. Okay, like the black vote in Mississippi gets dropped. All right, I agree with you there. Right, because they're dumb.
I'm talking about overall.
Vote, well, no, but like the black vote in fucking Harlem stays. The black vote in, you know what I'm saying?
Harlem.
Fucking yeah, the black vote in fucking Brooklyn stays. The black vote in fucking San Francisco stays. The black vote in parts of LA stay, right? Because there are like legitimately people who are fucking highly educated in these areas who know shit.
There are, but that is a minority of African Americans.
Okay. Well, again, like half of this problem legit is fucking the welfare state and single motherhood. Like when it comes down to it, you know, and that has to be addressed, you know what I mean? Like one way or another, you know what I mean? Like fucking like that got to get addressed.
Well, not only that, like
you have to have that conversation.
Well, not only that, you have to account for the fact that 6% of the 13% of black people in the United States have been imprisoned. Okay, so like right now, and in charge with felonies. So like they like 6% of that 13% in fact make up the overwhelming majority of crime in the United States, just in general. So like you whenever you bear that in mind, like criminals don't give a fuck about civics. All right. So like you have
criminals care a lot about civics, man. Like fucking legit. Like if you're a criminal, you have to know the legal system.
That's the legal system isn't the same as pulling up a civics course book and then trying to figure out like oh man, okay, that's cool. So what you're saying is the Senate does this, the House of Representatives does that, and there's this many representatives, and like they don't. I'm never gonna walk by some thug with a civics book. It's never going to hapen.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that, right?
Unless they're using it to snort cocaine, like
or like hide a gun,
right?
Like, but yeah, like I feel what you're saying, right? And again, like the 90% of that fucking bullshit is the single motherhood epidemic in fucking black communities. When it comes down to it, you know, it is the lack thereof of responsibility for your community because everybody rents. They all live in Section 8. Nobody's paying for shit. Nobody has a fucking job. And I mean, like the fucking males are all fucking basically fucking feral. And I mean, they're bouncing from place to place. Like there's fucking memes, you know, like if you go on like go into like the hood and like look at their Facebook pages and shit, there's memes of like fucking my favorite one's hefty fucking carpenter fucking bags and like fucking helping your baby's father move for fucking 30 years, right?
Yeah,
right. Like, no, like yeah, but like but this has just been accepted. Like it's a normal thing. Like anybody tell you go to the hood, there's a if you see a carpenter bag in the fucking corner, the baby father is around. You know what I mean? But like that nigga don't live there. You know what I mean? And he's able to run away at any time, and you're in a fucking place where he's not allowed to be. Right. Yeah. And this is just shit that's accepted because like we have these dumb fucking laws that all these simps and cucks think are fucking good for fucking our society as a whole.
Yeah.
And like again, like I get back to I don't think that like legitimately feminism should be allowed to be a thing for poor people, right? Like divorce you should not be allowed to get divorced if you make less than fucking $50,000. Like $150,000 a year.
Then I'm more harsh than you are. Because I think people who are third wave feminists should be impaled in the street. So
I agree. Trebuchet into the ocean, covered in fucking tuna fish. I feel you.
Gang raped, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is for me is like a third wave feminism is a fancy way of saying unnecessary advocacy, and that's kind of like one of the issues that I have with it, and I also have issues with a plethora of other things, but realistically, like, yeah, when it comes to like, as you said, like single mother households, yeah, there's a huge issue across the country, but it affects Black people the most. And I don't know
Yeah.
where the hell that came from, how that happened. Like, it
Oh,
wasn't
I can.
like
You want
that.
to know? You
It
want to
wasn't
know how
like
it
that in
happened?
the 80s. I
Do
know
you
you're
know
going
how
to
it
say
happened?
abortion because everybody says
No,
that.
not
But
at all.
how?
No, that's dumb.
Oh,
That's not abortion.
okay.
That's not the reason at all. What happened was is when the factories closed down in like Detroit and fucking all across, I mean the fucking the Rust Belt and shit and all these places. They went door to door in Black neighborhoods and told their fucking wives that if they kick their husbands out, they can stay there, they'll pay their rent, and then they'll give them extra money because their husband's not around.
What?
Yep.
I've never seen that anywhere. I figured that
Yep.
would be very well documented if I, like something. Who went door to door? The government? Like what?
Yep. Yep. Local and state governments handing out fucking welfare.
Oh, you're talking about the single mother fucking like WIC and shit like that. Like,
Yep. All those fucking people. They went out and like legitimately fucking as these dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking got off on unemployment and shit. Or like they ran out of unemployment from their fucking bosses. They sat there and told them, they said, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? This will fucking make you a Section 8 house. And but the thing is, you got to kick your fucking man out.
yeah, I mean, like, but I mean, that also might have a lot to do with look, criminal culture is a massive. You know what pisses me off the most is people actually debate me on this point that there is there is a heavy that crime is a cultural norm in Black communities. Like, there's so many people that contest that, and I don't know why, but it is. And I've actually watched these videos from Black people, famous ones too, that would say like, whenever if you become, actually here you go. I think it was Denzel Washington, I believe was the interview. He said he went off, became an actor, or went to college, graduated from college, fucking comes home, nobody gave a fuck. His brother gets out of prison. He hadn't seen his brother almost his whole fucking life. His brother gets out of prison, comes home, and is fucking like they have a party for him.
Yeah.
And that is a massive cultural divide. That is the polar opposite of how it works in white cultures. Like we don't celebrate crime. Like and they do. It's positively enforced. And not just and also in music. And even Snoop Dogg admits to something that you've mentioned several times. Snoop Dogg has even come out and said that these people look up to me as a dad, and it's an honor. And I'm like, that's depressing. I want you to think about what you just said, Snoop Dogg, how fundamentally sad what you just said is. That isn't brag worthy. That's fucking depressing.
Yeah. I'm looking up that fucking thing for you. Black community welfare outreach 1980s. Yeah.
And honestly, but
yeah,
honestly,
here we go.
like,
American welfare policy historically fucking targeted fucking Black families.
Okay.
Legit. Yeah. Found the U.S. ranked 34 on the list of 35 developed countries surveyed well-being of children. Like basically what they did was they stood here. Families receiving cash assistance fell from 12.3 million in 1996 to 4.1, but the child poverty rates went up. Like, yeah, there was like, man, legit. They literally went door to fucking door to fucking hand out fucking welfare to fucking Black mothers and shit in Black communities. Yeah. And like, it's fucking disgusting what they did to the fucking Black community altogether. And it ended up breeding a point of where here's how it works today, right? Today, the problem is where it is today is that it's generational. Like, not so much the welfare, but it's generational in how the men live. Like, they end up fucking getting kicked out of their mom's house at 18 because they can't stay in Section 8 anymore, right? Without paying rent. And then like fucking they end up knocking up some fucking female, you know what I mean? Because they're basically fucking living on the street trying to find a place to leave. So they fuck some bitch to stay there. You know what I mean? They knock up the fucking female and shit, and the female's in Section 8, so they can't stay there either. They end up getting put on fucking papers. And you know what I mean, they end up fucking not having any money because they're 18 and have no skills to get a fucking job. And so, like, you know, they end up joining the black fucking market and selling fucking drugs to get there. And, you know, what they do is they just fucking idolize that fucking culture at this point because they don't have the ability to, you know what I mean, do anything the fuck else.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I don't even know what to do about it, but I do know that the majority of them would not be voting and they would be okay with it. So, and then that's kind of like what I was getting at earlier. And as far as like the civics was like, I don't know, like, you know what I would do, right? And I'm serious. Okay, like this is the closest I'm gonna get to like coming to a middle ground, I guess. Have you seen 18-year-olds? They're fucking retards.
Oh,
you know. So maybe increase it to 21. If you can't drink or smoke cigarettes, you can't vote.
Well, like, yo, dude, again, I fucking think that you shouldn't be able to vote until you're fucking at least 25.
Well, the reason I say 21 is I think it's an even middle ground, and that's usually where your brain is quits developing. You know, at 20,
it's 25. It's 25 when your brain quits developing.
It will actually no. I mean, so it actually depends. So yeah, it can be. It actually ranges between 20 and 22 for on average, but yeah, it can be 25, 50%. It can be 50% higher, 50% lower. Some people's brains can stop developing at 18. It's like pure genetics, really, you know, so it just depends. And I believe there's actually a difference for women. I think for women, it's actually between 22 and 24 or something like that. So like I may have it actually completely backwards, and it may be men that's 22 and 24 and women is 20 and 22. I think I have it backwards. Apologies. Yeah. No, yeah, I do. No, women actually, their brains finish developing before men do. Yeah, that's right. Which is a bad thing, which is why most women are the way that they are. And whatever they are when you met them in their 20s is how they are when you meet them in their 30s. They don't change, and neither do men. Like, and it's kind of like one of the fundamental differences here. Like, whatever you are before your brain quits developing is what you're going to be forever. If you get addicted to drugs when you're 14, you are more likely to be addicted to those drugs until you're 40 than otherwise.
Well, okay, like here's the thing, right? Like, so like I smoked a lot of reefer when I was like 14, 15 years old, right?
I did not.
And then when I was 21, I stopped, right?
Yeah.
And never smoked again.
Yeah, and I think I tried it the first time when I was 16 and then didn't actually pick it back up until I was 18. And I did it a lot for an entire year and then stopped and then started dealing it for a year or two later and did it a lot then and then quit. And I haven't actually smoked weed in like years. I mean, I mean, in any significant amount. If somebody offers me like whatever, I might partake every like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but I don't do it like really at all. However, on the other side of the coin, whenever I was 8 years old, I tried my first beer. And whenever I turned 16, I had liquor for the first time. Got very drunk, and I still drink liquor.
Well, I'll be real, man. Like I fucking stood here and I was drinking like you were when I was younger and I was a kid. But when I was 25, I quit drinking and never really went back to it. Like I drink every once in a while, but like it's a rare occasion. Like
If
maybe
I have
once every 3-4 weeks.
If I have a bottle, I will drink it every day until it's gone.
No. Like
Yeah,
I legit I can leave like I have a 12 pack in the fridge and I've left like fucking 9 beers in that bitch for like a month. Right. And this is what I'm saying. Like, yo, I don't think like a lot of what you're saying is true. Like, I think that it's just a lot of worthless piece of shit people are allowed to stay in that mentality.
What I'm talking about is not true for 100% of everybody. What I'm saying is we're talking about likelihood, we're not talking about absolutes. So you're more likely to do that than you are anything else. So it's like, and that's why I'm saying, like, if I go back and play Mario, I will never be as good at Mario as I was when I was a kid. However, I can pick back up on that pretty easily again, or not pretty easily, but relatively easily, again, since I already played it as a kid. Whereas if I never played video games in my life ever, and then you handed me Mario, it would right now, it would be miserable. 30 years old playing Mario for the first time and never touched a video game in ever. I would be, it would be like magic. Like, what is this? What am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be a whole different experience.
I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I could be as good at Mario as I was back in the day, but I was never really good at it to begin with. Like, it's the reason why, like, I didn't play video games a lot. You know what I mean? It's why I don't play video games now, because I sucked at it when I was a kid.
What were you interested in as a kid that you're interested in now?
Not a lot. Reading.
You
know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I do a lot of fucking reading, but I'm like, again, like I've grown as a person, like I realize like a lot of things, like, fucking weed and shit, it stunts your growth as a child, right?
Yes.
And like literally your brain has to recover after that. So once you quit doing the drug, you end up like having to recover. And this is the problem, right? And this is really what it runs down to. So you ever met a heroin addict before?
Yes.
All right, you know how like this is something like really specific. If you know a heroin addict, you know about this. Like when they're using, or after they get done using, like after like they quit or whatever it is, for the first like 6-8 months, every stub toe, every like fucking bump into a fucking counter
is an overreaction.
Like, they're dying. Oh my god. Oh, it's fucking terrible, right? You know, it's because of the fact that like they've had the ability to like just cloud themselves.
It's
from any pain while they were on that dope. You know what I'm saying?
Everything afterwards is sensory overload.
Yeah. And like, so, but the thing is though, is like eventually their toughness builds back up. Right. And this is the thing, is like nobody, no, it always does. You always end up toughening back up. But here's the thing, right? The problem is that nobody wants to go through that hard process of toughening back up after that. Like dealing with the world after being an addict is extremely difficult, because you've been walking around in fucking, Wizard of Oz and shit for, however long, 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
We're actually getting into my occupation territory. So, okay. So the thing is with addiction, it's actually a very interesting subject. So weed causes it creates a dependency. It doesn't create you can't become addicted to it, which is annoying semantic, by the way, just to throw that out there, because all these fucking potheads are all like, well, it's not addictive. Well, I mean, yes, you're right, technically you cannot become addicted to it. However, it does create a dependency, and if you try to say otherwise, you're full of shit, and it's very dangerous to do if your brain isn't developed yet. If you do it as an early teenager, you will be permanently, and this is where I said it depends, you'll be permanently affecting how your brain is developing, and potentially can permanently stunt the growth of your brain. And so you'll see it. Like if you've ever seen people that are called perma-baked, that were little kids, whenever they were younger, they smoked weed and they still smoke weed. They do it heavily, never quit, and they have to fucking have it, or they feel like they can't function. They have psychotic breaks. They zone the fuck out. They're fucking dry. Like they it's because their brain, in its attempt to develop, had actually developed requiring the drug that they put into it. Right. And so addiction, however, now granted, they can stop it at any time. They're not going to have a massive, what's that called? Withdrawal. And they're not going to, and they're not going to die. With withdrawals can fucking kill you. Okay. So like that's not going to happen with pot. You're not going to have withdrawals. You're just going to fucking feel miserable. Like cigarettes is the same way. Okay. So, and then you have heroin, which is a whole fucking separate category of drug. it can cause you permanent, what is effectively neurological damage, which is what addiction is. It is addiction is neurologically damaging. And that's one of the key differences. Your brain quite literally is stuck in a state called new normal. It literally cannot function without the dopamine that the drug causes your brain to set off. And think of it as like an efficiency engine, right? So your brain is if you can make a better way for your brain to produce the dopamine without it having to do it, then it'll just do it. It won't even do it anymore. It'll just rely on the fucking drug. So that's what heroin does, is it makes it to where your brain just stops producing dopamine, period, done, forever. And the heroin and dopamine increases become synonymous with one another. So whenever you said like you can go back to normal, well, you can become stronger in so much as you don't have sensory overloads anymore. You've gotten kind of used to what it feels like to be sober. But man, you're going to have to take some form of medication to supplement for your lack of dopamine, because you're going to be fucked.
No. Like legitimately. All right. So usually what individuals do is they replace that dopamine with fucking like sweets and things of this nature. They end up as like fucking diabetics and shit, right?
Okay,
like,
you're right. Sorry.
I've been through fucking rehabs and shit, right? Like legit. Not for the what's I went through rehab for fucking drinking and shit. And alcohol and benzos are the only two things that'll kill you when you fucking get off of. Right? They say heroin, but like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Heroin's not going to kill you. It just sucks a lot. It feels like your bones are on fire.
People have legitimately died from it, but it's usually as a result of other health issues that came attached to it. But no, like the thing is like when I forgot candy. So sorry about that. Like, I meant take some drugs for the dopamine or candy or something like,
they usually replace it with candy. And like, again, like this is all something you can do. Like you change your diet, you change the way you live, you exercise more, you fucking replace that dopamine elsewhere.
Right.
And like, fucking, this is kind of the point, right? So this is kind of where things are. And it's really important to like fucking understand how like fucking addiction works, because there's two parts to addiction, right? It's the physical and then the fucking psychological, or what motherfuckers call the mental fucking shit for addiction. And weed legit, like this is my biggest problem with weed. It makes you okay with shit you ought not to be okay with.
Well, right. So that's the dependency, really. Like what people call mental addiction is just a fancy way of saying dependency. That's all it is. And so like with pot, it does that. It'll make you like you can walk and catch shit. Like Like, yo,
like I know potheads legit like fucking who stand there like their kids are like shitty diapers. Like I've seen kids where like for real their parents just let them motherfuckers in their shitty diapers all day long. Like the most severe diaper rash you could fucking imagine, and like fucking roaches all through the fucking house. I mean, like shit's completely fucked up, but they're high sitting in a room playing motherfucking PlayStation and shit.
Dude, I have a friend of mine. And I've known him for years. And I'm not like, and so I don't hate the guy or anything like that. But man, we spent almost a year trying to get him to fucking buy some PVC pipes to fix the fucking plumbing, because he had no water. And he couldn't get water because the pipes were busted from like 3 or 4 winters ago. So he was shitting in the toilet and just compiling shit on top of shit, and then eventually dumping it out with flushing it down with a bucket of water. But that just kind of led onto the ground, like fucking, several feet from the house, because the pipe busted and was just kind of, like above the septic. Right. And the whole thing was fucked, man. And
yo, look, I went to this house one time to buy weed when I was a fucking teenager, right? I was actually probably about 18. My wife was like 16 or 17 at that point. And fucking we go into this house. My buddy takes me over here to pick up some weed from a dude, and like it's a bitch I know who was like a Miss fucking USA, a teen USA pageant winner, right? I used to fuck her and shit, right? And I walk into this house and I swear to God, like fucking I go in and like on the right hand side is his kitchen, and like the dishes are just stacked to the ceiling with like just fucking black ooze in the fucking sink. And then like on the other side's like the living room, and there's like 4 kids sleeping on the ground with blankets covered in cat shit. And we go around to like the back of the fucking house or whatever, like through the living room, and there's a hole that was busted in the floor with a hammer with a ladder to get to the second floor, right? And like on the one side, like right before you get there's a toilet on the fucking like left-hand side of this hole, right? And it's just completely filled with shit, which made me think of this. And like you go up this ladder and we go up here, and I swear to God, they got like a log covered with a wet blanket, and there's pigeons flying around inside of the room with a baby in a fucking playpen, right?
What?
While this nigga's trying to sell me these fucking screen printed t-shirts and shit. Right.
Wow.
And trying to like, I'm fucking trying to buy a fucking half ounce of weed off of them or whatnot. And like, these people were okay living this way because they were high. Like, if they weren't high, they would not be satisfied with their fucking lives.
But the truth is, I've seen this with alcoholism. I've seen this with tweakers, you know, so.
Yeah. I've seen alcoholism get to this level too. Real shit. Like, I've seen motherfuckers drink to the point where like, they're cool with living in that. Like, you ever walked into a house and smelled cockroaches?
Yes.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, fucking that's kind of like what, like, I've been in these type of places and I've been around these type of people and shit. Like, I get it. I know what addiction does, right? But that's the psychological, and that's the worst part of the weed in particular is that shit. Is allowing you to be okay with that type of shit.
Well, so the thing is it's really the dependency of it. Yeah. Like, so the problem is it's what I was talking about when I mentioned the new normal. So the fundamental issue with it is that your brain becomes complacent with, well, literally everything, because your bottom line is weed. Your bottom line is, I don't care. I'm going to work my fucking 2 days a week to buy my fucking bag of weed. I don't need electricity. I don't need water. I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it comes to. Like, I knew people that had cats, right? And all they did was buy weed. They had no electricity in their house at all. They were, and this guy was, these guys were old. They were in this house. The house was actually condemned. It was falling apart in the middle of nowhere. And the thing was, is the cat food that they got was donated from, like, because they have this place where you can get like donated fucking animal food, right? And he just go and pick up like giant bags. He never even bought his cat's food. You know what I mean? And he didn't have water. He collected water in a fucking bucket and depended on the rain. You know, it's fucking absurd shit. You know, like, and so like, and it's because this guy was high all the time, and then he ended up just growing weed in his basement, and the shit was fucking awful. He grew like the worst weed, and so fundamentally, how I look at it is simply, that like this is what happens whenever you're addicted to something, is because the bottom line to you, or addicted or dependent, the bottom line to you is it's hedonism to the extreme. But unfortunately, it's like neurologically hedonistic, because like you've become so accustomed to it, your brain has, that it can't function without that. Like it's just gone. It's like it's very similar to, can you imagine functioning without with your kid being dead? Right? It has a very similar, it's not the same, but to the brain, like it's kind of like that. It's like my brain's going to shut down if I don't have my drug, you know, and that's kind of like what it's like. And I don't really know how the best way to really explain that. And I've seen it in people, and a lot of people with weed, with alcohol, with all sorts of stuff. And I associate with very horrible people in real life that I, you know,
me too.
And the thing is like, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you look at these people and I can't really say, well, just will yourself out of it, because they've already fucked themselves beyond repair. right? And it's going to take something. If rock bottom, and let me tell you something, living in a house with nothing but cat shit and no electricity and no water is rock bottom. So if that doesn't fucking work, if that doesn't get them out of it, then absolutely nothing is going to do it. And they already fucked themselves.
Like, yo, I know a bitch right now, right now. I know a bitch who's living in a fucking hotel, right? After she was with a dude, right, who legitimately drank so much and had her on a level where she's drinking this fucking much and fucking popping pills and shit. And like, she lost custody to her 2 fucking kids, her car, and a house that was given to her. Lost all of it. Right? Yep. Behind like fucking just doing drugs and being with a dude. Like, then she's staying in a fucking hotel working at a goddamn convenience store. The most banana shit I could possibly imagine in an individual's life. And you just go, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, don't you see the shit you put yourself in? Aren't your kids more important than the rest of this? You know what I mean? But like, yo, they don't, like, to me, that's why I quit weed. I was like, I got to get a good job. I got to keep a good job so I can support my family.
When I first got a job, I was really high. And I thought, I can't afford this anymore. I got to get a job so I can buy some more.
Well, like, yeah, that's why I used to sell coke and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, yeah, but I mean, I was the first time I ever got a job. That was like, I literally took a hit off my joint and said, I need to get a job. And because like I was running out of weed, but
like, yo, but like real, like I had to get a job, and like I just got piss tested the other day, right? Like fucking Monday, I got fucking piss tested for fucking work and shit, right? Like getting urine tested is a normal thing for me. Like it just that happens constantly. So like I have to fucking be sober, you know what I mean? Like I can't be fucking, you know what I mean, getting high and shit all the goddamn time.
And here's the thing, like too, like there's a lot to appreciate. You know what my favorite part of smoking weed was? And this is the weirdest thing that nobody understands, but me apparently. The sobering up part, like right after the high is gone, you get really high and then the high goes away. That feeling to me is so uplifting. It's like this big moment of clarity, you know, and like after all the fog is gone, I feel better in that moment after I'm no longer high than I ever did during. And that's one of the reasons why I got so caught up in it for a while, is because I got addicted to sobering up from it in a way. And nobody understands that at all.
Well, like, all right. I don't know if it was the sobering up part. Like, yo, fucking YouTube just started working for me. But like, fucking, why doesn't Darkstar have a fucking wrench? But like, yeah. Like it wasn't the sobering up part. It was the fucking sleeping and waking up without a fucking hangover and just having the ability to rest and my brain shutting the fuck off. Well, that was the best part for me.
Well, the thing is for me, I don't sleep when I'm high on weed. In fact, it's like meth almost in its effect. Like I get really, really, really hyper and manic whenever I smoke pot, and I don't get tired. I don't get fatigued. In fact, I'll be awake for if I did it at noon, I would be awake until 7 p.m. the next day. Like I cannot sleep off of it. I have ADHD, so it just does the opposite of what it's supposed to do. So I imagine that the reason why I got addicted to the sobering up part was because like I just had a different effect than other people.
I feel you. I don't know. I used to like getting high just in general. You know what I'm saying? Like as a whole, like I liked, okay. And the other part of it was the control, right? It was like the ability to like fucking smoke a certain amount of weed and then get that high and that's it. Right. It's like fucking, you can't really do that with alcohol as well. You know what I mean? Like you can't really control your fucking getting drunk ability, you know, like how fucking fucked up you are. Like, cause like you kind of you never really get to that level where you're just fucking cool. You know what I mean? Either you're fucking not drunk enough or you're fucking too drunk. You know, it's a pain in the dick. But with weed, it was always really fucking easy to do. You know what I mean? Fucking, it was always like, you know, I smoke this much, I'll be fucking cool. I can function. I can go do whatever the fuck I got to do and go on about my fucking day.
Well, I'll be right back. I gotta put my kid in her bed real quick.
Oh, do your thing. Do your thing. All right. Anyway, so like apparently we just got back. Like fucking apparently everybody got the goddamn YouTube's back. So we're gonna find out what they changed about YouTube here soon, apparently. Because you know how the fuck that operates. These motherfuckers here are gonna, make major changes on the fucking platform, and they'll do it and not tell anybody, and then just update their term of service like the next day or some shit. And we'll all get an email saying like, hey, look, what I'm saying, if you are on the platform and you don't stand here and support Biden, we're gonna throw you all the fuck off. It might be a fucking thing here soon. And if they do that, it's cool. We will find a new platform to go to, and I'll get in on the ground floor and we'll build up and handle our business and do what has to be done. But I really don't know, man. Like I think maybe they're gonna crack down here right now, and then once Biden's president, they're going to take their foot off the pedal. I'm not sure, because they seem to be becoming more censorious, like fucking with the lame duck session with Trump. I'm not absolutely positive, like fucking about what the hell it is they're trying to do. Yeah, please. And I need cigarettes. Fucking sorry, fucking, like fucking my girl's going to the store, fucking asking me to give me drinks and cigarettes and shit. But like, yeah, like, so I'm not absolutely positive about what's gonna happen at the moment. Fucking, I don't think that, like, I think we're gonna go back to like Obama level shit. And when Obama was president, up until the election of Donald Trump, there was no real censorship on the internet. Like fucking, they didn't really care. But once they noticed that, we were pissed off about the fact that we were losing our jobs and everybody wanted, to stop, fucking all these wars and shit. That's when they started getting super censoring with everybody.
I'm back.
What up, man? Anyway, fucking, so YouTube is making some big change right now to their fucking platform.
Are you sure?
Yeah, man. Fucking, every time YouTube goes down, they make some crazy ass fucking change to their shit and update their terms of service and fucking update all the fucking words that we're not allowed to say.
Yeah.
What up?
Sorry, I was responding to somebody. There's this but anyway, no, so like I don't even remember what we were talking about now. I totally forgot.
We were talking about weed, you know what I'm saying? But like fucking, like I moved on because like I think like YouTube's making a big change at the moment. Fucking, because that's why like it was down.
Is there an announcement or?
There's gonna be, probably. You know how this works. They make some big change and then they announce it like the next day or later that night.
Yeah, I've considered making a new channel because I think my channel is being.
They've been lightening up on me though, man.
Well, I can't. I've noticed like look, everybody else can go into chat and write like I don't know. Whatever. I can't even think of anything on top of my head now. Like some random racial slur or something, right? I do it and it auto deletes my comment. If I write anything, it's like they got an algorithm specifically targeting me because I say bad words like frequently. So
like I know for sure I'm like shadow banned on Twitter, right? Or on fucking YouTube, right? But like here's the thing though. I've been breaking the motherfucking mold because I'm picking up like 100 subs a fucking month. Like they can't stop me. I'm working too hard. You know what I mean? Like my shit's just getting out there, and like there's they don't have a fucking choice anymore. Like they can't hold me to fuck back forever. Like you can't have a guy with 5, 6, 10,000 fucking subs and like, like really hold him back unless you take him off the fucking platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my message is too fucking strong for them to fucking bang out, and like, I'll be honest with you, like I'm not really like getting any more strikes. You know what I mean? Like I'm not getting hit with any fucking bullshit. They're not warning me about anything. You know what I mean? Like I have a warning on my channel from like fucking 2 years ago and shit. But other than that, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my case, like I don't, to be fair, I have a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Random schedule on my YouTube. And that's probably a lot to do with it. But also I'm trying to fix that. But I'm also trying to up the quality of my videos tremendously because that's been like a foundational issue is that, I've never put like a whole lot of work into them. I put work into a lot of other people's shit and not my own.
Yeah, like yo, I'll be honest. I watched your shit today, man. It fucking looked good. Looked good. It sounded good. You know what I mean? It was fucking positive and shit. I'm digging your fucking flow.
You're talking about the God
God
Emperor
Emperor one?
Trump. Yeah. Like, I mean, it pissed off a couple people, but as I
You
said,
know how
like,
it works.
I
You're
would
gonna
like,
piss people off.
as I said in the video, like, I don't know why everybody's surprised. It pisses me off too, because like one of the people in there was in a stream that I was in, actually the stream you were in as well, where I went on a rant about how I wasn't a Republican and I don't believe in parties. I think party systems are fucking retarded, and it should be individual based, whatever, right? Or issue based. And then the person comes into the comments section and said, well, you said you weren't conservative. And I'm like, I never said I wasn't conservative. I said I wasn't a Republican. Like, holy fuck.
Yo, look, real shit. Like, yo, fucking Republicans aren't holding up conservative values anymore.
They have a few, just enough to say they're conservative, and that's it.
Like, I'll be honest, it's two parties of war. You know what I mean? It's two parties of Wall Street when it comes down to it.
Yeah, like I fucking hate like both parties. And I don't know why, like, people keep trying to shove me into the Republican camp. And I'm like, I'm not a Republican. First off, I'm a fucking atheist. That just automatically kills it. There is no such thing as an atheist.
No, it really doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
There's no atheist Republican. It doesn't exist.
Thank you, Toxic Nightshade. It's appreciated. You know what I mean? Toxic Nightshade said, YouTube recommended your channel to me yesterday, and I'm here today. How are you, Shadow Band? By the way, that I did sub to you last night. I do like your content so far. Yo, it is appreciated. Well, let me tell you like this. YouTube legitimately, okay, so they have me like, all right, I got monetized for 4 days, right, in my whole YouTube career, right? Like, and here's the bitch is they fucking demonetized me for a video I had dropped 7 days before that, before I was even monetized, right? They hit my video, like they took my video down, never gave me a strike, and then 7 days later hit me with a strike and fucking stopped me from fucking doing shit. Like, I've had 6 strikes in a year at one point in fucking YouTube. Like, I got a fucking strike for what the fuck was it? I got a strike for making fun of mariachi bands one time.
Really?
Right? Yeah, swear to God. Like, yo, and I just made a passing comment, you know what I mean, about mariachi, but it wasn't even like I fucking focused on them. Like, yo, fuck mariachi bands. Like,
I mean, they're funny.
I shouldn't even mention them at all. Like, legit, I'm gonna get fucking popped again. Like, but yeah, real shit. Like, YouTube, real fucking talk has like I have a BitChute that's supposed to mirror my content, and how BitChute works is that they work off a notification from your YouTube channel, right? And so when they get a notification that you drop a video, they mirror your stuff, which is cool, right? But here's the thing, they don't mirror my videos because they don't get notified of me dropping videos anymore, right? They only get like every 3rd or 4th video. Right? Wow. That's legit where I'm at. And if I look at my fucking thing and see like how many people my video was like seen by or recommended to, right? I have 2,400 subs, something like that, right now. And like, it'll say every one of my videos is only showed to 1,600 people. It's not even passingly shown to fucking any of my motherfucking, like, fucking the majority of my motherfucking fans and shit. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. And that's my fucking problem. Like, yo, legit, they fucking shadow banned the fuck out of me. But I don't know how, somehow they released me and now I'm in the market because people are getting recommended my shit, which is fucking great. And I mean, we're growing. I'm getting like 500 views a video. I'm doing really well. And I'm super thankful, and I'm not going to bitch about it right now. And you can be an atheist and conservative, by the way.
You can be a what?
You can be an atheist and conservative.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can, but if you no, I'm not saying conservative. I'm saying you can't be an atheist and be a Republican.
Yes, you can. Do you care about money?
It doesn't matter. The Republican Party is very, like, there's a reason the Republican Party has absolutely zero atheists in it. It's because the number one spiel of Republicans is, here's me, here's my wife, praise be God, and something Constitution.
Oh no. I'm like, yo, legit. There's plenty of atheist Republicans. That's like there's gay Republicans. It's the Lincoln or the Log House,
No,
Lincoln,
there
fucking
there
Lincoln
is.
Log House thing or whatever, cabin
Yeah,
house, whatever.
there is gay Republicans, but I have yet to see one come out publicly and say I am an atheist. None of them do that. Like, that's what
Well,
I'm getting
no,
at.
because like, all right, well, you do. You have like fucking trying to think here. Fucking there's guys like up in the Northeast who run in Connecticut and Massachusetts and all this shit, right? And they're like atheists and they're homosexuals and stuff. And like they're Republicans and like nobody has any issue with them whatsoever. Right?
Politicians.
Yeah, politicians.
Well, I mean,
You just like you can't. All right, so like as a Republican in the national election for president, you got to carry like the fucking Christian fucking conservatives, right?
right. Well, which I wouldn't do, and that's kind of like one of the first like fundamental issues, like that I have with the Republican Party, is a lot of the baggage that goes along with that party you have to take on to yourself.
Well, no, I mean, because like the Republicans are basically made up of libertarians, Christian conservatives, neocons, and Wall Street guys, right? Like that's basically that's the Republican Party as a whole, right? And like most like fucking conservatives, no matter where you stand, if you're right of center, like you're gonna hit one of those fucking marks. And like the fucking Christian conservatives are fine with the libertarians at the moment because like libertarians like have your God, we don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And most of them are atheists. Almost every last one of these fucking libertarians.
I can tell you right now, if I rolled into the GOP and I said I think full-term abortion should be legal.
Yeah, no,
right out the door.
Yeah, I know because like that's a violation of fucking rights. The Republicans are also like they're constitutionalists. You got to remember that.
Some of them, not all of them.
No,
like
almost
Romney,
all of it. All of it is yo fuck. I hate fuck Romney, but he's still a constitutionalist at the end of the day.
He's not very constitutional. Like he he's not a big fan. I'm dying.
Well, Romney is, he's Romney's. I fucking hate Romney but on the same point, like Romney, he's a constitutionalist at the end of the day. Like fucking he, like he believes in Second Amendment. He believes in, the freedom of speech. He believes in all the bullshit. It goes everything that goes into it, the property rights, everything. Like because he's a fucking fiscal conservative. He's a fucking Wall Street guy. You can't be a Wall Street guy and not believe in private property. The Second Amendment and fucking free speech.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Victor says late term abortion is basically infanticide. And he's right. You're right. But I don't care.
Yeah. No.
Like I don't give a fuck.
Again, no. Once a baby is viable, right? Once a child is able to survive outside of the womb, that is a human. It's no longer a child. It's now a citizen.
Yeah. So my viewpoint is essentially like it's murder, no matter which stage it's in. I think it's just as much murder in the first trimester as it is the third. So like I don't care. Like if somebody's went out here and the only thing that I say on abortion that I do care about, that I am passionate about, is I don't think that it should be a federal law. And that's it. Like, I think it should be left up to the states, but that's back to me being a states' rights advocate. And I'm going to apply that to drugs too. So basically I'm not a fan of Roe v. Wade, really. I used to be a big Roe v. Wade fan. And then I started really thinking about it and I'm like, well, but does this have to be federal though? No. Like there are plenty of states that would still have abortion in them. New York, California, like I can go on. And I'm not a big fan of, right. Like
Vermont,
pretty much
fucking Massachusetts,
all of New England, Virginia. Basically. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is like the other issue that I have with abortion is government funded abortion, which I'm not a fan of. So
yeah, I feel you. Like I'm not a fan of government funded almost anything when it comes down to it. Like short of like government funded roads and bridges, and even then, like I really do think that like fucking it should be more funded by, fucking tax money or like fucking local and state fucking federal tax money from fucking gasoline and highway sales. And I think like I'm from the Northeast, so we got a lot of toll roads. I think we should fucking put more toll roads in.
Your bin person just triggered the fuck out of me.
Who?
The bin person. So he wrote, I'm agnostic and moderate. So here's the issue. I fucking hate it when people say they're agnostic. That is like, I hate it. I hate that term because so gnostic means I know, and then agnostic means I don't know. So if I ask you if what like if you are, you know, if you're theistic or not, do you believe in a God? You can't just come at me with, I don't know. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. What are you? I'm an I don't know. Like, no, like, is that it? That's all you have? Because look, almost every Christian is a fucking goddamn agnostic. They don't know there is a God. They just believe there is. So fundamentally speaking, saying agnostic doesn't mean shit. It's not a claim. It's kind of fence sitting.
All right, Red Raptor, yo, you said that you heard abortion lowers the crime rate, right?
What?
All right. Okay, so like I've heard this argument made, you know what I'm saying? And you're not wrong, right? It does lower the crime rate, right? Fucking like the moment they started fucking aborting babies in mass and shit, you ended up having fucking all right, hang on a minute. Fucking let me stop talking for a second. All right, fucking I was trying to read their comment. All right, so you can do it that way, right? Where you just murder babies, right? You know what I mean? Because like, yo, if you murder poor people's babies, poor people are the ones who commit the crime. So like, you know, fucking you're gonna end up lowering the crime rate. Or, and here's a better way, you can make life better for poor people by having more jobs and less immigration.
That's
like
boring.
Like that makes shit way easier, right? Fucking that's kind of the deal, right? Like fucking like, yo, instead, like, all right, how about this? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Instead of standing here, you know what I mean, like fixing the economy and making life better for everybody, we're just going to hand out fucking UBI and give free shit to everybody. Sounds dumb. How about we fix things? You know what I'm saying? Like, because legit, putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound's probably not a good fucking idea.
Yeah, why just hand somebody a fish when you can teach them how?
There we go. Basic premise.
Yeah. But
right, fucking yeah, I know we're about to get flooded with massive amounts of immigrants. Oh fuck, I actually saw an immigration channel the other day, happy about the like fucking excited about Biden being fucking elected because it means that like fucking now people are going to be united with their families.
Yeah.
All right. I know y'all don't like the power of the woman and all that, and although I do believe the girl deserves the right to choose, the guy's natural right is that he can choose to shoot his sperm or not, though I agree. No, he doesn't get to choose whether or not he shoots his sperm or not, right? And that's the bitch about it, right? Like, how do I put this? All right. So the man, all right, legit, because the woman like is still having sex, no matter what happens, whether the dude wears a condom, whether the fucking whatever it is, she's still having sex. The dude, on the other hand, if he wants to climax, right, legitimately inside of a fucking female, he should have the motherfucking right to go, hey, look, and I'm saying I'm not interested in having a kid. Nigga, I can't pull out of a goddamn driveway. You know what I'm saying? In case you haven't noticed by my 8 to 15 fucking kids, right? And that's kind of the fucking problem and shit. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of motherfuckers like me out here, you know what I mean, who ain't got no goddamn pull out game. And, you know what I mean, who kind of rely on, you know, you individuals not motherfucking getting knocked up. You know what I mean? Or fucking females being fucking somewhat responsible for what the fuck comes in and out of their fucking holes, right? And I legitimately think, like, yo, if you want the power to abort babies and the power to control your reproductive rights, then, like, you have the responsibility of controlling your fucking reproductive rights. And if you're going to need a man to support you in your reproductive rights, then motherfucking you don't get to fucking choose. It's you either have the responsibility and the freedom, or you have motherfucking none of the responsibility and none of the freedom. It's one of the two. You don't get a fucking you don't get to choose that.
I actually agree with everything you just said, but I have a middle ground.
What up?
Okay, so I hate marriage. I think that it provides zero positive incentive for the male overall. However, I can think of one. Yeah. However, I can think of one, a really good one. And that is that legally you could make it to where if you're married, for example, that the woman cannot have an abortion without both their signatures, the male and the female. And so like they both have to sign off on it, giving the man in that marriage just as much right as the woman, even though, and that would be one fix. But whenever you take marriage out of the equation and it's not marriage, like that's where I kind of get a little bit more gray, I guess you would say, where essentially, look, men as a whole like can think they have a say, but they don't. So in a non-marriage scenario, discounting everything I said earlier, if you're not married, like you can think you have a say. They can tell you, hey, what's your opinion? But that's just like your opinion, right? Like they can just run off to any clinic and get an abortion, be like, oops, miscarry. And like there's nothing you can really do about that other than leave if you find out. And so like I don't really know how to handle that situation whatsoever. However, on the other side of the coin, I'm not necessarily going to add limits to abortion other than the ones that already exist. Mainly because it's just a massive slippery slope, and it just starts getting worse and worse. And like, and it's just like, look, man, fuck it. Just open the doorway. Let it all go. Let anybody do whatever they fucking want. Let them abort them at any age. Who fucking gives a shit? Fucking let them shoot them in the head the moment they come out of the womb.
Stop being nihilistic. Hang on. All right. So like, okay. So here's a toxic nice thing. Let me address this in the chat. He said, that's funny you asking women to take responsibility when we were taught we were fragile. All right. Well, here's the deal. Either you're adults or you're not, right? Either you're people or you're not. It's one of the fucking two. All right. And I address everybody as a
women
person.
Aren't
that's
people.
why, like, I agree with you, but I'm hashtag fucking Penoid Radiator 2020. Fucking, but like I legitimately like I fucking treat everybody the same. Like male, female, I don't give a shit. Like I got pussy at home. I ain't worried about fucking bitches on the internet. And that's why I get in so much shit, because broads can't handle being treated the same way I treat a dude. Right. Like, I don't think like abuse is a real thing in a fucking relationship either, because like if me and Vlad had an apartment together, like we were boys, whatever, we went and got an apartment together, and like fucking he got in my face about fucking the dishes or some fucking random chore. Right. You know what I mean? And I cracked that motherfucker in the mouth. It wouldn't be abuse. It would be a fight. Right. But like, because it's between a man and a woman, it's abuse. Like fucking, it's not abuse. It's two human beings trying to figure shit out.
Yeah,
and I mean, this is the fucking problem, is that we don't treat them like humans.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is actually a good point. So, like this is something that I really hate in society right now. You can watch a video right now on YouTube, actually several of them, with a man getting like full blown assaulted by a woman, punches that woman one fucking time, knocks her ass on the ground, and you will always read comments saying, "How dare he hit that woman?" And I'm sitting here like, why? Because she's weaker than him? It doesn't matter. You fought for equality. Fucking take it. Or go back to washing my fucking dishes and making me a sandwich. Because at the end of the day, like the sole reason, okay, that women didn't have rights in the first place to start with is because they were a protected class initially, and then they wanted their little freedoms. They wanted to be treated as equal. Well, you can't just take the good shit. You can't cherry pick. You can't just take all the all the good stuff of being equal and then throw away all the other stuff. No, you are biologically weaker, but societally we treat you as equal regardless of that. So take it, or just don't participate and fucking go make me a sandwich. Like that's your choice.
I agree.
So
right? Like you're either an adult or you're a child. It's one of the fucking two, right? Like either you're a fucking citizen and you get to deal with the bullshit that everybody gets to deal with, or you're a fucking, you know what I mean, you're a lesser part of the species and you shut the fuck up and know your fucking position. Right? Like legit, like every dude on the planet knows, right? When you're having a conversation with another man and you start yelling at him, there's a 90% chance there's a right hook coming somewhere. You know what I mean? It might be a wild haymaker. That motherfucker might actually know how to fight. You never know. But like, you know that is a fucking possibility, and that's the risk you're taking by getting in somebody's fucking face. Every female thinks that she just has the right to do that. And you go, are you fucking retarded? That's like me poking a fucking pit bull. Like, don't be fucking dumb. You're going to get bit.
I do got to say, for the record, though, getting in somebody's face is a horrible fucking strategy. But just throw that out there. Like, Like
I
that is
agree.
like, I love it when people get in my face because I'm just sitting here thinking, you just made me have to punch a shorter distance. Like you like, I just blows my mind, or especially when they get up in your face and they hold their head up, you know, like they're taller than you and leave their throat completely open. It's amazing. It's
Oh,
like,
like when motherfuckers present their chin.
yeah. And I'm just sitting here, like, dude, I will punch you in the throat and the fight will be over in exactly 2 seconds.
Like, you know,
So like,
don't hand me the side of your face. You know, it's like,
yeah, like,
don't stand
yeah.
there with your arms out and shit, or arms down, and like your fucking chin stuck out and shit. Like, what the fuck you gonna do? And you just bow and you break their fucking jaw, and then they feel some sort of kind of way about it. But here's the thing, right? Like, yo, that when it comes down to two dudes, that's just two dudes solving a problem. That's legit. That's one of our problem solving techniques is violence, right? And females, like you're way more violent than dudes are on average. But like, yo, it's we just let you get away with bullshit because we're accustomed being hit by
Oh,
fucking dudes who actually know what they're
yeah.
doing.
Just so like, I had a girlfriend once, and me and her got in a massive argument because I made a joke and she got offended like a fucking snowflake and started screaming at me. So then instead of me yelling back, I stood up and turned around and was going to go walk out the fucking door, you know, like a responsible adult. Okay. And I was being calm about it. I didn't fucking slam anything. I just methodically stood up and turned around to walk out. She grabs me by the fucking shoulder to try and pull me to her. And I turned around and I said, if you don't get your fucking hand off my shoulder, I'm going to break it. That was the end of that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is like yelling and screaming is one thing, but touching me in a vigorously violent way is not a way to get me to listen to you, you know? And that was like, and that was the only time I think I've ever like threatened anything to somebody that I was with. And it was the closest I ever got to, because like, here's the thing. She went from 0 to personal attack. Like, and that's the one thing I hate about women more than anything. Like men overall, like they'll just address the issue at hand, you know, not sit there and go personal slight, personal slight, personal slight, personal slight. You know what I mean?
oh
Like
yeah,
that's a woman tactic.
yeah. Like dudes don't stand here and just like fucking, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you dirty motherfucker, I fucking hate your guts. I can't fucking stand you and all this fucking bullshit, you know, whatever nonsense that they fucking say. You know what I mean? And like dudes, you know what I mean, they'll get up in motherfuckers' face and they'll address the fucking problem. We'll have a conversation about what the fuck's going on. Right. And like the problem is that we're not treating each other as equals. And I think that's always been a large problem with the majority of shit is that we're not addressing each other as equals. Like, because if you had the threat of getting punched in the fucking face, you would learn how to interact with other human beings on a better way. Right. Bill
Yeah.
Burr
Yeah.
said it. He said, like, I wish females would just punch each other every once in a while. That way you understood what it is, you know what I mean, to have a regular conversation with a human being.
Yeah. I mean, like, and the thing is too, is you hear a lot of women complain about how they're treated as like sex objects by men and stuff. And you know what I never understood? How was that ever a problem? Women do it to men too. Like, so who cares? Because,
Yeah.
you know, like I never understood that. And I remember I lived with a few, and one of them was work at a fucking some male sports salon thing, and essentially she would constantly complain about how she was talked to, like whatever. And I'm just sitting here like, you're working in a fucking barber shop called Sports Clips, which is basically the Hooters of fucking hair uh of barbershop. So that's what that is. That's where you're working and you're complaining about how you're treated. It literally has a sign on the door, men come first. That is literally a sign on the door, and you're working there. You don't get to complain about that. You put yourself in that position. If I worked in a fucking gay bar, I wouldn't be able to come home and complain that a bunch of dudes slapped my ass.
Agreed. Completely fucking agreed. And Michael Hatfield, what up, man? Fucking so Ben whatever, right? Fucking some Polish name. Fucking says, guys, I truly believe perspective is a funny thing. Sonder means everyone's life is equal or more complex than your own. Politics is how you raise your experiences. The problems are lost in disagreement. I don't know what the fuck you talking about, son. Legit.
Yeah, I got lost at Sonder.
All right. Oh, fucking here we go. Okay. So like here, this is good. Sometimes people end up in places from internal pains that no one has ever helped them with. Okay. Well, here's the issue. No one should be helping. You know what I mean? Right. Fucking like real shit when it comes out. Like no one should be helping you with your bullshit. You should learn how to deal with your bullshit. You know, like real shit. Like you understand, like yo, what is it? Something like 90% of dudes are raped in fucking prison, and there's been like something like fucking 10 million people walking the streets right now who have been to prison. Right? Like how many of them dudes are whining about their rapes?
Actually, the funny
Like,
thing about that is, statistically speaking, I read this quote on Rain, I believe the website is. It said it said one, and I think it was 1 in 10 men in general are report being raped, and they said that they think that the number of actual male rapes is much higher than that, and it's just that men are far less likely to even ever bring it up,
yeah.
and
And
they
this
just
is kind of my point. Like, yo, I don't give a fuck about your pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. Like, get the fuck out of motherfucking people's
well,
ways. Like,
this is
just
why I
live
say.
your life, nigga. Stop worrying about like the small things in your world that made it difficult. Worry about the shit that you got in your life that you have an opportunity to make you succeed.
Yeah, this is why I think some women need to be raped, like actively. And no, seriously, the reason why is because you have these women going around whining horrendously about, oh my God, this guy, he took my scholarship and it's the male oppression. And they act so entitled, like, and hurt and victimized over the tiniest little itty bitty thing. And I'm just sitting here like, somebody needs to rape you to give you some amount of fucking perspective.
Yo, everybody, like, yo, you understand this is a troll, all right? Legit. This is the world's best troll right here. All right. You know, when it comes down to it, this is an amazing troll that my man's is doing, and he means none of what he says. It's a fucking joke, and it's funny as fuck if you hear it from, especially like I'm sitting next to my girl, and I got it on the speaker now so she could hear what you said, right? And she's just over here laughing her fucking ass off because it's fucking hilarious, right? Like legit. He's like, some bitches just need rape for perspective, right?
Yeah.
Nigga, this like I feel where you are though. Like real shit, I do. Like I feel like people need to understand what real pain is. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to it, like you need to understand, like yo, there's real shit that can happen to you, right? Yo, fucking like yo, there's like here's where I'm at. Okay, like I said, like I put up a Twitter poll one time: is it worse to be raped or hit with a baseball bat? And people chose rape. And I'm standing here and I'm like, hang on a minute, have you ever recovered from being hit by a baseball bat?
Well, fuck that. I've been hit really hard in the side of the knee with a fucking 80-mile-an-hour fastball, and I can tell you right now, I'd rather just be raped in the ass. The guy fucking sucked.
Like yo, here's where I'm at. Yo, how long is the recovery period from being raped? Right, as a female, what, like 10, 20 minutes, some shit like that? Like
forever, apparently. Like they just like fucking like,
but like you're legit, like you could literally get stabbed as a dude and like have like a permanent scar, internal damage. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking like motherfuckers who have never been stabbed have no idea like how much pain that is long term. Right? It takes like fucking years to get over, you know what I mean? Like all the bullshit, technically, like physically, what's wrong with you, right? And like it's a constant like fucking pain. But like bitches get raped and scrape their knee, and they're like, oh, it's the worst thing that could have ever happened to a human being. And you go, no, it's not. Like there are way worse things that can happen to you. Like you should try getting shot sometime, or like having your arm cut off in a buzzsaw or something. Like there's some terrible things.
If you think you're about to get raped, just relax and enjoy the ride. You know? Just chill the
Loafer,
fuck out.
you should probably not be doing your own colonoscopy, like, or prostate exams. Like, I'm just like, I'm saying, I feel like you are a shitty judge because, like, you don't know what a broken one feels like if you only know your own. And if you don't only know your own, you know what I'm saying? Like, welcome. You know, we accept homosexuals around here. You know what I mean? Like, fucking,
Wait,
I don't
what's
really
going
give a
on?
shit as long as you're cool with the politics.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Did somebody say
Loafer
something in the
Sheffield.
chat?
Yeah, hang on, man.
Oh,
Loafer Sheffield. Fucking, hang on. I'll put it up on the joint. I'll put it up on the joint. Here, fucking. He said, can we quit with all the anal stuff? My prostate exam has been deferred because of the allergy. Coof. For the third time, I've started to do that myself. And he said, I have performed 5 examinations this week. Right. And I was like, I feel like you just like to stick fingers up your butt at the moment.
Look.
You know,
Look,
that's
here's
kind
the
of where
thing.
it's at.
Have you ever taken a shit? If the answer is yes, then you know what it's like. Just imagine pooping in reverse. There you go.
That sounds terrible. Like, have you ever hurt your own butt pooping?
Yes.
Like, you have, like, you ever like had to sneeze and poop at the same time, and you sneeze and like just shot out like a jet and broke the porcelain on the back of the toilet and shit. Like, yeah. If I had one of them like fucking couple weeks ago, I couldn't sit down straight for like fucking 2 or 3 days. It was terrible. Couldn't imagine motherfucking like having to get like fucking anally raped. That would be fucking horrible. Take me like a week to stop feeling that shit. It'd be fucking awful.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is, you know, if I got raped, here's what would happen. I would go home, I would take a shower, okay, and then never talk about it ever. It would just never happened.
I feel you.
You know,
like
no. It's like what is there to talk about? You know, and what pisses me off too, by the way, is you got these, I just hate it whenever, and like every other woman I've ever met has said that she was raped, you know, or something, you know, and I'll be like, well, how long ago was it, you know? And then, or actually, it wasn't even that. Like, so like, there's this one time. Actually, give a more specific example. There's this one time when I was at work, I was going on this fucking tangent about rape and bitching about how women just like milk the fuck out of that, and how I honestly think like half of the ones that tell me this shit are lying, you know, and I went on this rant to this coworker, and the coworker looked at me and she said, well, I was raped. And then I said, oh, what were you wearing? Maybe that was why.
I feel you, right? Like, here's my motherfucker about it, right? Like, I come from the Appalachians, so like there's some crazy stories out here, right? But like there's females who's like, oh yeah, I was molested by my dad and my brother, but they still talk to them like they're friends.
Oh yeah, no, I know, and it's insane. Like, actually, my kid's mom was talking about how, like, it told me several times she was molested, and then I actually, like, when the thing is like, I started making jokes about it, and then she told me not to make jokes about it, you know. And you don't, telling me not to make a joke about a subject is like the worst thing you can do, because now I'm just gonna make you cry. You know, like you could, you know, and so like I started like I said, why, you know, and she's like, well, because, you know, like my uncle, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, the next time we're fucking, just call me uncle. It'll be fine. You won't even notice the difference. It'll be okay. I'll finger you in your sleep too. It'll be fine. It'll be just like old times.
I'm like, I'm your cousin. I'm your cousin. Yeah. I'm your cousin.
Yeah. Cousins make dozens.
Yo, I feel you, right? Like, I just feel like females are whores and don't want to admit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes down to it, like, they're just like, yo, they're whores and they want to say they were raped. So you feel bad about, like, you know what I mean? So like, they don't feel bad about like all the nasty, terrible things that they've fucking done.
I met one woman in my life, and she was an inspiration to behold as far as to every woman. She had been raped 3 times, and she told me about it. One of those times, she actually ended up with herpes, which is horrible, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know what she told me in response to that, or after that? She said, the reasons I got raped was because I dressed like a slut and walk around drunk in the alleyways next to the bar. Did I learn my lesson? No. Did it suck that I got raped? Yeah, sure. But the idea of knowing that I'm now giving my rapist's herpes is pretty fun. And just like, she didn't even care. She's like, let it go, and end up with the herpes and just passing it on. like true love, you know. And
Yo, I know I know a female, right? Fucking like this is a bitch I used to fuck when I was like 16, and she was fucking special. Like literally, like she was like not like fucking special like a retard, like she was a special type of person. Fucking like she was just
oh,
off
I
the
was
wall.
about to call you JF, but yeah.
like I like my potatoes. Fucking but fucking nah, like she was, you know what I mean? Fucking she was a wild spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking she one time she ended up standing here going out and hiking the Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, right? And like I guess towards the end of her journey or somewhere in her journey, she got raped. And when she came home, she found out she was pregnant from being raped.
Mhm.
And she kept the kid and she named the kid fucking Miracle. Right. And
Okay.
raises, yeah, like it's the craziest fucking shit. But like it's the sweetest little girl now, and she's like the best mom on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean? And like it's the most banana shit I've ever seen. But and legitimately, this female is one of the best people I know. You know what I mean? Like real shit. Like fucking she's goddamn awesome and shit. I haven't heard from her in forever and whatnot, but like fucking it might have been Destiny. I'm pretty sure it was like Miracle or some shit like that. She named it some like fucking weird thing, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, she's an amazing person, you know what I mean? But like legit, like fucking some motherfuckers take that shit and they turn it into something else, and then some motherfuckers get raped and then end up, you know what I mean, like fucking whining about it for the next 40 fucking years. Like it's the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah, and the worst thing is that bothers me the most is whenever you bring up like personal responsibility in that entire thing. I know I'm a determinist, but I mean also like I do agree that there's some amount of personal responsibility anyway. Like there are things you just shouldn't do, right? And so like give me an example. My most recent ex, okay, she is one of those pity party faggots, you know, that would sit there and get drunk and go on and on and on about all the things that you should feel sorry for her about, you know. And one of those things was like she was apparently raped by her uncle, right? But uncle like by marriage, I believe. So it was like her, you know, whatever. Anyway, point is that so she took a whole bunch of fucking Xanax and passed the fuck out in her bedroom, right? And then so she ended up waking up to her uncle on top of her, you know, fucking her or whatever, right? My first response to this in this story was I said, well, you probably shouldn't down a whole bunch of Xanax and go to sleep. Because it wasn't prescribed to her. She was just talking,
Well,
you know,
you should
and then
you should be secure in your room and like motherfuckers. Like that's legitimately a rape.
yeah,
Right.
well, yeah, I don't know. It is, but here's the thing, though. Like he was in the house; they were all in the house, you know. And the thing is, like, she just went in her room, went to sleep, all strung out on Xanax, right? And I'm sitting here, like, look, like part of the problem in this story is you are hanging out with drug addicts. When people who do drugs are like on that level are usually pieces of shit. Those are the kind of people you have to associate with if that's the culture you're wanting to get involved with. So whenever you are in that situation with those kinds of people and partake in the drug, realistically getting raped in your fucking bedroom while you're asleep is just kind of an initiation. Like it's ultimately what you did to yourself. And I'm not saying and I even told her, it's like, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying you are to blame. He 100% should have been reported or something, which she never reported him. But at the other side of the coin, you were associating with awful, horrible fucking people that did meth, they did pills, they were alcohol. Like, and I'm just like, what do you expect? Like from that, like something bad is going to happen to you when you associate so heavily with pieces of shit. She went on an absolute fucking fit. And I learned something immediately in this situation is this is why, for some reason, she had no issue with me like fucking her in her sleep. Made perfect sense now. Like, I get it. I get it now. You just got to call me. You call me uncle. No. I mean, like there were times where she was full blown asleep. I'd rip her fucking pants off, fuck her in the butt, and then she'd wake up and would be okay with it, and it was great, you know. And that was why, because her uncle helped me out. I should send him a postcard and say thank you for conditioning your niece so that I could get off whenever I was in the mood. and she was asleep, but realistically, like, it pissed me off because I was trying to tell her like a way to because to not associate with those kinds of people, because she's still associated with pieces of shit even during the relationship. And I'm like, and I was telling her, like, don't do that. This is this kind of gay, stupid bullshit that happens to you when you associate with pieces of shit.
I completely agree with you, right? And I've been through that same bullshit. Like, legitimately, like, I know a female, she's like, oh, my brother molested me and all this fucking bullshit. And it got down to the point on my brain where I went, now this bitch wasn't, she might have been molested in the beginning, but it was a relationship after that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
real shit. Like, she started fucking enjoying it and, like, you know what I mean? Like, literally fucking treated it like an actual goddamn relationship, and like, it's, to me, that's a batshit insane story. But like, it's fucking, your relationships are strange. Like, human relationships are some strange things. And I'm not sure how to handle that type of mental. Like, I can't deal with it. Like, me personally, I fucking, like, I had to roll. Like, I had to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? And I did. Like, fucking, like, right after I found out about that shit, and I found out like she was still hanging out with the nigga. I mean, I was like, nah, I got to go. I can't deal with you no more. Like, fucking
Yeah.
these twisted ass fucking broads. Cause like, if you'll stand here and go like, oh, he raped me and molested me, and then still hang out around them, like, I don't want you around me in my fucking life, as far as
Well,
I'm concerned.
like one of the women that I lived with, like she wasn't molested by her dad, but she would tell me these awful fucking stories, which I knew were bullshit anyway. Like, she said that her dad, when she was young, like, meticulously broke like each one of her fucking fingers, and I'm just sitting here like, how does you just stand there? I can't think of any kid that'll just stand there and let you meticulously break one finger at a time. So I'm just like, automatically like, no, bullshit. But then, like, she calls him on the phone on fucking Father's Day like 2 weeks later, and has this like great conversation, even says I love you at the end of it. And I'm like, no, you're fucking full of shit. You're a lying fucking douchebag, and I fucking hate you. And bear in mind, this is the same cunt that like she. So you know how like I say a lot of things that are very like offensive, and she took the bait on every single one of them. If I said the word, if I said the word lesbian, I was a homophobe. If I like, and if I made any joke whatsoever, I actually even made a statement that God doesn't exist. And then she was like, well, what do you know? You haven't traveled the world. Like, well, have you traveled the world? Well,
He's like, you haven't traveled the world. Like, bitch, you ain't never left this town. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Like, it's just so like it's weird nonsense. And this is a thing, and I don't agree with what Addy says either when he's like saying like, well, it'd just be easier if you just fuck dudes. Like, no, like, dudes can be just as fucking crazy as women. Many of them are, like, so like I don't like, I'm a crazy fuck. All right. So like I would be the worst. I am a horrible person to live with in a relationship. And I'm 100% honest with that. Like, so like 9 times out of 10, the women that I'm with don't just leave me because they want to. I'm also just terrible to live with. If I find a fucking button I can push, I will push that and milk that for all it's worth for the lulz, until they either get over it or we're both laughing about it or something. Like, I'm just one of those people that I can't, I don't let things go, and I like to push buttons. I want to know everything there is to know. And I don't like there to be any walls, and if there's a wall there, I will break it, even if that makes the person cry and leave. Worth it.
Yo, I feel like I have that problem where like a motherfucker says, don't touch that button, and I have to touch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was all like,
Like,
last one,
I have that issue.
dude, the last one was really drunk. She's like, wrong hole. And I said, in your opinion, and kept going. And then she liked it. It was great. Hello? Did it just drop? I think his internet took a shit. Dun dun dun. I hear a bunch of clicking. Okay, I know you're there.
All right. I think I'm here now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like my shit just went fucking retarded.
Nope.
My internet died. Like it fucking like it straight fucking crashed for a second. I don't know what the fuck. It's like 9:30, so like it's prime time out of here. You know what I mean? But yo, look, man, we've been going for about 2.5 hours. I think this is plenty enough content for today. You know what I mean? With everybody not being able to watch and things of this nature. So, like, yo, let's wrap this bitch up. Yo, if you want to do another live stream, fucking like, yo, if you want to get together this weekend and do some shit, it'd be fucking cool as fuck. I like having you on as a guest. You're at least sharp enough to keep up, you know, like a few of the other individuals I invite on here.
Well, I guess one of them didn't even show up, so two of them.
Who?
I can't remember who you said you invited earlier.
Oh, Mad Dodge. I only other person I invited was Mad Dodge, but like I don't expect him to show up, like because I talk shit about his channel all the time. And I mean, yeah, I told him, I said, like, fucking, I said, look at this, you're having a fucking stream about the American election, and you got a British and an Australian dude to fuck on. No wonder your channel has like 3 people watching. Like, yo. But anyway, yo, look, man, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. It is what it is. Andrew Vlad, thank you very much, dude. Do you have your channel like hooked up right now? Like, fucking, do you have it like fucking at the ready?
Well, what do you mean? Like, do I have it available? Like, what?
Like, fucking grab a link and throw it in the motherfucking chat room.
Oh, that. Okay. Yeah, my channel is Andrew Vlad, and trying to find how to do this thing because I'm inept and blah blah blah. Fuck it, whatever. And yeah, because I hate how YouTube does its little like URLs. It'll say like as subscriber, and I don't even know if that's gonna fucking work or not. It worked. Okay, cool. And Vlad and I do mostly political commentary and shit like that, or trolling and whatever, like nonsense. So
yeah, it's just cool as fuck here. Fucking I'll throw a link up. That's his newest video and shit he just dropped today. I mean, y'all go check that shit the fuck out. See if we can get you some subs over there and whatnot.
And when I don't do that, every Sunday, Gallagher is going to be doing a live stream on my channel. He's going to be hosting it, called Sunday Night Blasphemy. And then every other Saturday, I'm going to be doing the Impalement stream. So yeah, at midnight, Saturday at midnight.
Rock on. You know what I'm saying? I usually show up for those, so you know, I mean, y'all check those motherfuckers out. In the meantime, man, thank you very much for being on. We're gonna get the fuck out of here. All right.
Anytime. Yep.
All right, man. Let me end this.